It is always great to be back. It is. It is always great to be back, especially after a holiday like that where you have everybody, man. I mean, you're talking about a scenario here where, where you're looking at everything and you're going like this now and you're sitting there saying, hey, man, Merry Christmas to everybody. Everybody, without a doubt, had themselves, I hope, an absolutely fabulous Christmas and Christmas Eve. And we just absolutely did. Great football, college bowl games. The Eagles have a big game. Believe it or not, who would have thought that this game on Sunday against the Cowboys would actually be an important football game? Massive NFL weekend. The Chiefs continue to win. You got all kinds of drama going around here now with Hurts now in the protocol. So, guys, do me a favor, please. We appreciate you guys. I can't thank you enough during this holiday time coming aboard here on this Football Friday. Please hit the like button. All super chats go to the top. And let me just say this to you. How about flick it season? Can you flick it? Flick it. Flick it. It's flick it season. Flick it. Can he flick it season, man? I can't wait to see what this dude does on Sunday. By the way, will people stop doing this? Oh, we got to, because Joe's with us here. I almost forgot. He just reminded me, okay? We always start the program off with big sales, and we are powered by our friends at BetUS for the next 4 hours. So please hit that like button. Pickett, elite. Kenny Pickett is elite. Oh, my God. I can't wait to see this kid. Let's go, Kenny. LFG, baby. LFG, let's go, man. You're going to need this ball game. You don't want to really wake and go into the final season game against the New York Giants. I get it. The Giants have already packed it in. If I'm not mistaken, as of right now, they've got the number one pick in the upcoming April draft. So why would they in the world ever want to hurt anything there with that? We're going to give you our predictions here, but why would the Giants want to win that final game? Right? So again, I mean, you pretty much have 2 weeks. But one more thing here on the Chiefs. The Chiefs have 3 more wins. They're 3 wins away from winning their 3rd straight Super Bowl. It's within reach. They're 3 wins away from winning their 3rd Super Bowl in 4th and 6 years, or 4th and 5 years, I think it is. They're 3 wins away. They've got home field advantage now in the AFC. They're 15-1. You know what Eagle fans will tell you? They're the luckiest team on the planet. You're 15-1. That's not luck. That's making your luck. 15-1. 15-1. Hey, I see other. Hey, get this. Before you make a comment, Eagle fans, win another Super Bowl. Win another Super. You're not a dynasty. That's a dynasty. That's a dynasty. That's what every football team in the league, not just the Eagles, want to become. That's a dynasty. Absolutely a dynasty. You could make the argument that it's the second best dynasty next to the Patriot dynasty, and that includes the Cowboy dynasty of the 90s, where they won those Super Bowls. What would be a better football dynasty? The Cowboys of the Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin, or what you're seeing now? I'd say now. You know why? You're in a salary cap era. When those Cowboy teams won those Super Bowls, they didn't have to worry about a salary cap. You got to keep your football players on the team. You didn't have a salary cap. Okay? What they're doing in Kansas City is unprecedented next to what the Patriots did. I'll take Kansas City's dynasty over the Cowboys. Speaking of Cowboys, it's Cowboy week. We'll get to that here in a second. Nick Sirianni spoke for a couple minutes today. We'll also hit on that. Our friend Jason Cole will join us at 4:30. I got to start the program up. Before we give you our takeaways on what happens on Sunday, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. We appreciate you guys so much. James Jones says salary cap era, everything equal. That's right, James. I mean, I think what Kansas City's doing right now, because they constantly lose players each and every single year because of the cap. You just saw what they had to do with their defensive back, Snead. They ended up losing him because of money, and they were not going to pay big money. Hey, how about this? You end up losing Honey Badger. You end up losing Tyreek Hill. You end up losing Snead, and you're 15-1. Show me how that's possible. Show me how that's possible, that you lose those kind of players. And here you sit right now 3 games away and 3 wins away from winning another Super Bowl. Okay? I mean, fantastic stuff, man. All right. Before I start with what I think is going to happen in this game against the Cowboys on Sunday, and we'll take a look at the Cowboys and compare against one another here. The Cowboys have gotten better since that Cooper Rush start against the Philadelphia Eagles. They've gotten better. Okay? I appreciate you guys coming aboard here. Thank you guys so much. Again, like I said, man, make no mistake about it. Christmas week, we understand people are traveling and what have you. Thank you on this Football Friday. Supers go to the top. Thank you guys again. We appreciate it. I'm going to make a statement, and you tell me if you think I'm off base here with this. And I tweeted this out, and I made a poll question over this here. And I want to explain myself a little bit more here, okay, about what I'm saying here with this when it comes to the Eagle offense. How many people think that Barkley's made the offense better? Vester, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Vester, let me ask you, Vester. Do you think Saquon Barkley has made the offense better? Flexen says, I do. Embrace, 100% of the people think that. Okay. I do all day. Yes. Okay. So let me ask you this then. If you believe that Saquon Barkley has made the offense better, why are you 31st in passing and every single skilled guy you have that you pay big money to has missed a ton of games this year? Can somebody do me a favor? How many games is AJ, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, and now Hurts missed? Because basically he missed last week. So he'll miss 2 games tops. How many games have all those players missed this year? How many players? Would we say AJ's missed what? 3? AJ's missed 3 games. Okay? 3 games. How many has Devontae Smith missed? 2? Okay. Devontae. 2. Goddard's missed about what? 7? Okay. And Hurts will miss 2. That's 14 games. Between Hurts, Goddard, Devontae Smith, and A.J. Brown. About 14 games. And Hurts now will miss 2. So you're telling me you think that the offense in Philadelphia has gotten better, but it has at the expense of the passing game and the health of the players. Do you agree? Do you agree? Okay. Well, James, he theoretically missed last week. And he's going to miss this week. Nick said it today. It doesn't look like he's going. Now, if Nick is saying that and he ends up playing, I think that's one of the greatest moves Nick's made and not divulging any kind of internal secrets. That'll be the best he's ever done. And I'm hoping that happens. Okay, well, Senor, how many people would say that? Well, here, let me ask you. Senor says this. Senor, folks, how many people would say that the Eagles lost that game because Jalen Hurts, after the second series, didn't play in that game? I'm using your philosophy. Okay? Get this. This guy says that this is a shit take. Your passing game's 31st, and every guy you have that you pay big money to has been hurt all year. You're telling me that's not a fact? How is that not a fact? Dude, I speak in facts, not bullshit. That's facts. Every single guy that you have has been hurt, except the guy that runs the ball. And so you're telling, again, I'm not saying it's not working. Nobody's saying that. I'm telling you what you did was you compromised your passing game this year. Numbers and trends all say that. And your wide receivers and now your quarterback are all banged up because they're spending the majority of their time running the ball and blocking. How is that not fact? That's not the best football. Balanced football wins Super Bowls, not one-dimensional. Not one-dimensional. Get this, Crowley goes like this. I'm not following at all. Well, here, let me lay it out for people who are not as smart as other people are and can't see the writing on the wall. Crowley, do you not agree that the style of play that the Philadelphia Eagles are playing this year has cost health and has not improved the passing game? Is that not facts? Is that not the facts? Nope, I don't agree. So wait a minute. You don't agree that your quarterback being hurt, your wide receivers all being hurt, and your tight end being hurt, you don't believe that to be true. Hey, Joe, I missed the super chat. Can you put that up for me, please? Are you trying to suggest to me that that's not the fucking facts? How is that a disagreement? Thoughts on Herb Street? I'll get to that in a minute. I will. I'll get to all that. How is that not? What are you disagreeing with, Leon? Leon, what are you disagreeing with? That's not facts? What are you disagreeing on? The receivers got injured blocking. The receivers got injured because that's more of a physical offense. And the majority of the time it's taken. Let me tell you something, Jessica. When you spend the majority of your day blocking 40 times a game for your running back and you're a wide receiver and you don't usually do that, yeah, it's going to take its toll on you. Wow. War of attrition? So wait a minute. Okay. They don't practice hard enough. Get this. This is a bonus. Here, so Jalen Hurts has missed 2 games. Devontae Smith has missed 3 games. AJ has missed another 3 games. And has been banged up, and he's got a knee injury going into this ball game. And Goddard has missed 6. That's 14 ball games between your star players. Did your guys miss 14 games last year at all? Hurts played all 17. I think AJ missed the last game of the year. He played 16. And Devontae played all 17 last year, didn't he? How come you guys missed 14 games this year? At all your positions. And your passing game blows. What am I missing? Holy cow. Are you really suggesting to me that those aren't facts? Goddard missing time is nothing new. Okay, well, not your wide receivers are. Holy shit, you don't want to face reality. Let's take a look at the Eagles and how many games that they've missed. That's ridiculous. Barkley doesn't call the plays more than Hurts do. Oh, okay, yeah, right. They called the plays because they were working better than the 31st ranked passing game. So here, let me take. Let me take a look at this and see how many actual games they've taken. Oh, my God. What a bunch of deniers. Fucking facts. The fucking facts, and you can't take the facts. I mean, this is right out of the gate here, too. You can't take the facts. So Hurts will miss 2. Let's see Devontae, how many games he's missed and what he's missed this year. The only guy that hasn't really missed any games. By the way, Devontae Smith's having a shitty year. How many games has Devontae played this year? How many ball games has he played? He's played 14. Am I right? No, here it is. He's played 12. Okay, so he's missed 3. AJ's missed 3. Goddard has missed 6. Yeah. All of them have missed 14 games, counting the quarterback. And you're trying to tell me that that's just a coincidence. And last year, nobody missed any time except Goddard. Is that right? Fucking stupid. And you're telling me a team that has run the ball as much as your team has and has blocked, okay? It's nothing to do with being a doctor, Abe. It's talking about a style of play. Holy shit. Are you people with your head in the sand? The addition of Barkley and that philosophy of running the ball the way it has taken its toll on your skilled set players. Your fucking quarterback's out. Hey, someone help me out here. Hey, James, did Hurts get hurt in that Washington game on a run play? Was he running the ball or was he in the pocket? You get this. This guy says that injuries happen in football. They didn't a year ago. So should the Eagles use Barkley to do the tush push? I'm going to get to Barkley here in a second following this up. Okay? Where's James? Yes, he slides out of the pocket. And he took off running on a running play. Okay. Wow. Once again, big sills. Big sills, big take. Your offensive style of play has made your passing game blow out loud. You're the second worst passing attack in pro football. And your guys are banged up because you run the ball like that. By the way, I'm not saying it's not working. I'm not saying it's not working. Get this. I don't give a fuck if you think it's a shit take. It's the right take. Hey, it's the right take. Because you know why? That's reality. AJ's going into this game with a knee. Quarterback's not playing. Your tight end's out again. And Devontae's been banged up all year. How you doing? Facts. Now, let's do this. Do you not agree that this game this week is going to be a ton of Barkley? Okay? This year is going to be this weekend on Sunday against the Cowboys is going to be a ton of Barkley, right? How many times are you going to run Barkley in this game against the Cowboys? What would you say? How many times? 40? 45? Are you willing to run the player 45 times in this game against the Cowboys, knowing full well they're going to stack the box and know full well you're looking for issues in this ball game, and you're also looking at a guy who's been carrying the load for your team all year long? Are you going to run him into the ground in this game? I think you got to. Who cares? You talk shit, good or bad. We just like any other team. We get injuries. Nobody has control of injuries. Very bad take. I'm disappointed. I don't give a fuck. You're disappointed. What? Because why? I pointed out the facts that every single guy you have in your huddle has been banged up except for Barkley for the style of play, and it hasn't taken its toll. I don't give a shit, dude. Those are the facts. And if you can't take the facts, that's reality. Your starting quarterback is out. Your receivers have been banged up all year. One guy is going to have Devontae may not even get 800 yards this year. Your passing game is in the toilet. You're running. By the way, I'm not saying your running game's not working, but at the expense of those other players, numbers are down across the board for everyone. Why? Injuries, style of play. Right? How's that not fact? How is that not a fact? I think you're getting worn out. Yes, to Barkley, he's going to get the record on the Cowboys and rest against the Giants. We need to win. Anyway, the Cowboys don't have the horses. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Rush can beat the Bucks, but not Hurts. Big sells. Hey, you see these people in here? They don't want to face the reality. What I'm saying is true. Still said, fucking all your feelings today. Fuck all your feelings today. Okay? Congratulations to you. Way to go. What are you, a parrot? I mean, hey. Oh, hey, 5 more weeks? Who said you got 5 more weeks? You may have 3 more weeks. Okay? You get this. Marcus, I'm not wrong. This is what's happened. How am I wrong? What am I wrong about? That the offensive style of play has not taken its toll on these players? How is that being wrong? That's not wrong. Those are facts. What am I wrong on? Your offense is 31st passing, and your guys are banged up all year, and they're going to have career low years. Your quarterback is going to have a career low year. Your receivers are all going to have a career low year. And this will be AJ's worst year since he's been an Eagle. And Devontae's worst year since he's been an Eagle. What's being wrong? How are you mad because we can't understand and read something correctly, dumb? Hey, Sills, even if Barkley breaks the record, Saquon won't get the MVP award. Absolutely not. It's coming down between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Those guys are absolute studs, okay? After having a career season in 23, Sills' expectations are too high. No, he's not even remotely close to his average. Not remotely. Why would I be mad? Not mad. If you can't see the facts and truth, that's a you thing, dude. Sorry, Crowley. I don't get mad on people not understanding reality. That's a you thing, dude. That's for you to go and sit in a corner with your aluminum foil hat on and figure that one out. Okay? That's for you to figure out. All right. Let's get into what goes down this weekend. Jesus Christ. You can't face the fact that your guys are all banged up this year and you got a shitty offense right now in the passing game. And the only thing carrying your football team is truly the running back. But hey, you're going to give it to them 42 times against the Cowboys, and you should. My prediction is Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl, and Eagles lose again to the three-peat. Just seems inevitable at this point. Hoping for Bills-Ravens instead. Could be. Could be. I'm not really sold on the Bills' defense. Bills have a decent team, not a great team. Remember, they cut $65 million in salary cap, and they're still 12-3. Could you imagine if the Eagles had to cut $68, $70 million in salary cap? Okay, hey, by the way, that's kudos to Howie for being a better general manager. That's not a rip. Name one team in the NFL that has no injuries. I'll gladly shut up. Okay, long as the quarterback doesn't go. By the way, the Kansas City Chiefs are number one in scoring defense, and their passing game still has Mahomes. Josh Allen has injuries all over the place, and nobody's on his team, and they're winning games. I don't know. Okay? And for the record, the style of play in Detroit has taken its toll on some players, but they haven't had a drop-off. Their offensive passing attack is fourth, and their running attack, I think, is third now. Even with Gibbs. There's no drop-off. Even when they got injuries. What are you talking about? Baltimore's getting better. I mean, what are you talking about? Those teams have no drop-off in their passing game or running it. I mean, but by the way, it won't really matter if Pickett plays poorly. Your passing attack has been nowhere anyway. Hurts's value is in the run game, not the pass game. I mean, you have the second worst passing attack. Jalen Hurts' importance is as a running quarterback. That's it. Plain and simple. And that's what's been effective. By the way, I think you're misunderstanding this here. I'm not saying it's not working, but it's taking its toll on your football team. You have not had a good year in the passing game. Plain and simple. There's one game left or 2 games left. Then it's over. That conversation is over. The passing game did not improve this year. It was terrible. Terrible. Awful on what you have as talented players. The running game has been exceptional. And Hurts had played a big part of that. But once again, whether Pickett plays shitty or not, it's not going to matter. It's how well you do in the run game. And here's the difference. Pickett's not going to be able to give you what you need in this game against the Cowboys in the run game because they're not going to fear him taking off. Who in their right mind would fear Kenny Pickett taking off? And I doubt they fear him in the passing game. Facts. This defense better than 22? No, because you were number 2 in pass defense and you had 70 sacks. Khalid, how do people say that? That team had 70 sacks. You're nowhere near that. You have no game-changing pass rusher. You had a tackle that had 11 sacks. You had 4 dudes in double-digit sacks that year. You had a guy lead the NFL in interceptions. How in the world are you saying that? How in the world are you saying that? And let's see if this team gets to the NFC Championship and wins it. Okay? That wasn't the question, Ryan. He asked me, and I told you, 70 sacks, a player lead the NFL in INTs. You had a player that had 16 and a half sacks. You had a D tackle that had 11 sacks, and Fletcher had 6.5 himself. Okay? Well, I wouldn't look at this schedule this year and think you guys beat fucking world beaters. Okay? Okay, get this. This dude is a moron. This is the best defense and so forth. What a fucking jack off. Are you crazy? You had only the 1985 Bears in 2022 had more sacks. I think Dallas plans to play touch football. I don't think they're going to play touch football 304. I think they're going to come out and I think they're going to try to win the ball game because it would make the Giant game, the last game of the year, matter. Because if they lose against Dallas in Arlington, they've got to play that final game of the year against the Giants for the division title. I'm not saying the Giants are going to play because the Giants are looking to get the number 1 overall pick in April. So let's be candid here, man. I mean, this is a big game in a way, this Cowboy game. I never thought this Cowboy game was going to matter. Okay, Sills, still 12-3, far away from your 9 wins and Cataldi's 5 wins. How you doing? Yeah, but not that far away from them winning the division, the Commanders. You got to win this week, dude. Playing style and ability has nothing to do with it. Really? So you think if a team runs the ball more, that you're not going to get injured more as a wide receiver core and your quarterback is banged up? The injuries detailed the past game this season. It's the NFL's everybody gets injured. So I see. Last year you had nobody get injured, Anthony, in your passing and in your skilled guys. Quarterback played all 17. AJ played but 1 game in the regular season. And Devontae played every game a year ago. But this year, you've missed 14 games between all your skilled guys, including your quarterback. And you're fucking telling me that's just a coincidence. Okay. Mahomes ain't missed time. Allen ain't missed time. Lamar Jackson doesn't miss time. I mean, okay. Hey, by the way, Jalen, learn how to fucking slide. Tom Brady constantly hits on that. Learn how to slide, son. Getting an extra yard's not going to matter against Washington. That's where Mahomes is 10 times smarter than Hurts. He's not going to put a season in jeopardy or any kind of opportunity to miss significant time in critical situations. He's going to get down. The great ones, no. Hey, a punt is okay. That injury is Jalen Hurts' issue. It's nothing to do with the Commanders. He needed to slide. Brady hammers that point all the time. That was Jalen Hurts' fault that he got hurt. That's Hurts' fault. Okay? Slide. Get down. That's your fault. I know Eagle fans want to blame the linebacker for the Commanders. That's Jalen Hurts' fault. And by the way, I take that from Tom Brady. I say it every week. Quarterbacks in this league have to protect themselves better. They don't do a good enough job. Okay? They do not do a good enough job. Per Tom Brady. Okay? Per Tom Brady. That injury is on Jalen Hurts. 100%. Okay? All on him. All on him. Tom Brady. Oh, I know. Look at these guys. Linebacker for the Commanders is dirt. No. Your quarterback was a dummy there. Only time I want Hurts to go ahead first is if we're on a game-winning drive in the Super Bowl. Correct. Hey, Khalid, that's what Patrick Mahomes did to the 49ers in the fifth quarter in the Super Bowl when he was putting his ass and limb on the line because he knew they needed those rushing yards because they were getting none of those rushing yards from the run game. And that's when he went out. He wasn't going to put his ass on the line against a Raider team in October. He knows better than that. He knows get this, Andy Reid's right. That Kansas City team doesn't need home field advantage. They're Teflon from it now. You know who the Chiefs are playing against? Destiny. History. They don't have an opponent. It's history and destiny. That's who they play against. That's what Mahomes is playing against. He's beyond the rest of you guys in the league. Everyone's playing for this and that. He's playing for history because now he's being thought of in the line of Tom Brady and in that conversation. When you're in that conversation with Tom Brady and you guys like to bring up the stats of Mahomes and Hurts, it's so asinine. He's being compared to Brady, not fucking Jalen Hurts. That's an insult. That's an absolute insult. It's an insult to Josh Allen to being compared to Tom Brady. Dude, you got to win one of these things before you can start a conversation. Okay? There's only one guy in the league that can have that. It's Mahomes. The rest of them are fighting for their legacies. Have you talked about our clown head coach's latest incident? No, I'll get to that. Why do Eagle fans laugh at Darnold when he's better than Jalen? Even if they want to use the wins thing, Darnold has more wins. I tried to use that. They don't want to see it. Darnold's had a better season in 2004 than Jalen Hurts has. He's had more wins, and he's got better numbers. I mean, and he's in a tougher division. Think about that, 304. He's in a tougher division. 3 teams are going to come out of that NFC North, and they're going to be pretty good teams. Green Bay, Detroit, and Minnesota are all going to be 11-plus win teams. Okay, I mean, pretty good football teams that are in the NFC North. Darnold's had a better year. There's no where like I said too, 304. Where in the year of 2024 has Jalen Hurts outplayed Sam Darnold? I could make the argument, where in the world has Jordan Love outplayed Sam Darnold this year? Mayfield, Stafford. He's outplayed them all. Purdy. If Barkley gets a single game and rushing record in the next game, you think he wins the MVP? Absolutely not. That thing is between two guys. That thing is between two people right now. Okay? Hey, man. The San Francisco 49ers are probably looking at it right now, Niner all day going, damn. No wonder Kyle Shanahan loved the guy. Kyle Shanahan said, this guy's a good player. Okay? Weekly passing stats? Well, I don't have to do that. Your offensive passing game all year is blown. Nobody in their right mind would say it was good. Nobody. Detroit's has been great. Minnesota's been great. To some extent, the Rams have been great. And I'll tell you what, Detroit's running game is great. I would say Minnesota's running game. Minnesota's passing game and running game are great. And by the way, both those teams have more wins than you. I mean, get this. You want to hear this? I mean, truly, two teams in the NFC that have had a better season than the Eagles have been the Lions and the Vikings. And their quarterbacks have been the two best possibly in the NFC this year. Those are facts. They got more wins than you, and they got better numbers than you across the board, rushing and passing. Okay? I mean, whatever. All right? By the way, 4 teams that I think can win the Super Bowl. Lions. I don't know what Darnold's going to do. I don't know what Darnold's going to do in the postseason. I've never seen him in it. So I'm not going to sit here and write his name down with his team. I don't know. If Nick Foles can do it, he can do it. Lions, Chiefs, Eagles, and Bills. I think those are your 4 teams. I think then the rest of them are like Vikings, Packers, Ravens, those guys. Yeah. Okay, right. Right? Hit the like button, my friends. I'm going to give you my takeaway. All right. Then we'll look at the Cowboys and the Eagles compared. Hit the like button. I appreciate you guys coming aboard here on this Football Friday, Christmas week. Thank you guys so much. Should be a good game this week. Give me some scores now that Jalen Hurts isn't playing on Sunday. Give me some scores. Cowboys and Eagles Sunday. Let me see what I wrote. Okay. Cowboys and Eagles Sunday. What are you feeling? 56-3. Boy, I hope that's 56-3. Shows me you don't really need Hurts that much then. 17-10, 21-7 Eagles. 31-13, must not need Hurts that bad. 24-17. 20-10. 52-3. Guess you don't really need Hurts. 27-12. Huh? 24-21 says Chuck. It's 3. Hey, that was terrible on Thursday night. I'm with you. Sir Mix, 50-17. Pickett season, baby. Pickett season. Siggy, 24-10. How you doing? Yes, sir, baby. All right, 20-13. Here's how I see this thing. It's kind of a big game. This is kind of a big game here. Okay? I think you got to win this game. It's not a priority. But you're playing a wild card opening round. You're not getting home field. So the playoffs are not going through Philadelphia this year. So I would say this. How big is this football game on Sunday? Will you be scoreboard watching a little bit? How much are you going to give the ball to Barkley on Sunday? I think you got to take care of business on Sunday here. It's a 7.5-point spread, so they're obviously thinking the Cowboys aren't going to show up. They showed up against the Bucs. Hurts is hurt. No question. That's going to play a factor here, especially in the run game. Cowboys are going to load the box. Cowboys are going to load the box. Vikings 32 and yak as well. Darnold is balling. Think about that. Think about that, 304. The majority of the passing yards that Justin Jefferson and the other kid, Addison, are getting are because of Darnold throwing the ball down the field versus just throwing those little slants that Hurts throws. Think about that. How insane better he's been than Jalen this year. 4,500 yards, 40 touchdown passes, and he throws the ball down the field. That's crazy. And how he gets, you're right, I saw that. They're last in the league in yards after the catch. AJ makes the majority of his yards after the catch. Damn. So it's going to be Kenny Pickett season here on Sunday. Look, I didn't think he played poorly last week. My problem was that he was inserted when Hurts got hurt. Now you got a full week of game planning. So you're probably going to have him more prepared, obviously, for this game against the Cowboys. What do I think of Kenny Pickett as a starting quarterback in the NFL? I don't. I think he's functional. I think he's okay. He's got a rib injury heading into this game. I don't know. I think he's okay. I think he could potentially be all right as long as he doesn't turn the ball over and they keep him out of harm's way, which means, once again, it's going to be a heavy loaded game for Saquon Barkley. Absolutely. A heavy loaded game. Hey, wait a minute. Flexen, what's a crazy take? That Darnold's outplayed your boy? Where's Jalen this year outplayed him? Ain't wins. Ain't numbers. Where? 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 His receivers are all having you're last in the league in passing. You're last in the league in passing. Holy cow. Hey, could it be a Tanner McKee sighting? Could it be a Tanner McKee? I don't know. Cooper Rush now 9-4 as a starting quarterback with the Dallas Cowboys. He's gotten better. I mean, to what extent has he gotten better? I don't know. Just heard you had a lot of cannolis Christmas, 20-13. Philly, how you doing? I wish I had some cannolis, dog. I had pecan pie. That's what I had. Pecan pie. I like me some pecan pie. Okay, I didn't have any cannolis, man. My wife got me pecan pie. That's kind of what I like there. How about a Tanner McKee sighting? Okay. Real question is, they want you beat Washington first. Well, wait a minute. And don't say this. Well, wait a minute. We didn't have Hurts. Well, Minnesota's got a backup in. Minnesota's starting quarterback this year is a backup. He was a backup. You drafted J.J. McCarthy to start. He was going to be a backup. I mean, dual threat. I know, man. Tanner McKee. We get ourselves a Tanner McKee sighting. You love ragging on this team. I'm not ragging on this team. I said your football team has done a really nice job. Wait, you love ragging on this team and this franchise? Yeah, win a fucking Super Bowl. And instead of winning the competitive participation awards every year, why don't you win a Super Bowl? This is a good franchise and a good team. It is. And good players. All negative all the time on this show. Let me tell you, we're the Jets and we're not even the Giants. I didn't say you were, dude. You're this close. You're this close. And by the way, negative, he calls this being negative. I asked the question whether or not you thought this style of play is taking its toll on your offensive football players, and you guys all fucking got your panties in a bind because all your players are injured this year. The wide receivers all are having under career years. The quarterback is banged up. He's not playing Sunday. Basically, you want to go game and a half because he played just 2 series in the Washington game? Sure, okay. Everybody has been hurt this year in the offense, and your passing game's the second worst in the league. And you called that a shitty take. And I asked you if the style of play had anything to do with that, and you guys think that that's ragging. Hey, man, that's a fact. And if you don't like the facts, I can't help you. Sills, the line is also banged up. It's been a pretty physical year this year. Absolutely, Christopher. Hey, man. See, most people in here don't like the facts. Every wide receiver, you have guys, all your big money people will miss 14 games this year heading into this week. 14 games. You think that's a lot? Well, here, let me ask you this. Do you think A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, Dallas Goedert missing 14 games is a lot? Yes or no? Market Philly 500 is going to be interesting next week after this game. Very. Do you think that's a lot of games to miss? They didn't. No, well, this time of year, big picking. Last year, Devontae played every game. AJ missed 1, and Hurts missed none. You don't practice. They rest players. But when they get into the game, do you think the style of play? Okay? By the way, I'm awake or you. Nowhere am I saying it doesn't work. Because Barkley's had a great year. Nowhere am I saying it. All my point was, it's taking its toll, this style of play. Let me ask you this. Do you think style of play got Jalen Hurts hurt? Dual threat, running around like that. It's inevitable. Okay, right? If Jalen had continued to play, he would have had about 190 carries. Do you know how many carries a year ago? Can someone look this up for me? Do you know how many carries a year ago DeAndre Swift had? I think DeAndre Swift had like 235. Hurts would have had 190 this year. Jalen Hurts carries the ball as any good running back in the NFL carries it. And that's just going to be the law of averages on him getting injured. That's why my quarterbacks, I don't want my quarterbacks unless they're 6'6", playing like that, like Cam or Josh. Because the war of attrition is going to, dude, Jalen Hurts is not going to get healthier as he moves on in his career. He's not going to get better with health. He's going to be more diminished as the years go on. Those guys, look at Michael Vick, any of these guys. There's just not a tall ceiling for him because he's not a pocket passer. Yeah, well, Josh Allen's 6'6", 260 pounds, and never misses a game. I think he's missed 1 ball game in 5 years. He never missed a game. Let me finish up here. Cooper's played better. This has to be a Barkley game. Okay? It has to be a Barkley game. I would say this. Now, here's the question I'll ask you. They just waiting to unleash the McKee train. Let me ask you this. So your quarterback is banged up, your receivers are banged up, and your tight end's banged up, your quarterback's banged up. At what expense in this Cowboy game are you going to give the majority of the load to Barkley? Aren't you concerned that you got 2 games remaining and the playoffs are right around the corner? Aren't you concerned going into this game that the Cowboys are going to load the box on him and they're going to feed him the ball at least 42 times in this ball game? Do you agree? I agree. Kenny Gainwell has to be a factor in this game. Okay? I believe me, I want him in there too, because I don't want Saquon Barkley carrying the ball 100 times in the last 2 games, because we have to win it to win the division. Do you understand that? Barkley may have to carry the ball 100 times or at least 60 times in the next 2 games for you to win your division. Now, that last game of the year probably doesn't matter anyway, because home field advantage will be wrapped up between either Minnesota or Detroit. This game matters against the Cowboys, because you want to go into that game with Gainwell. Gainwell can beat that Giant team. There's no way that New York Giants team is going to put up a fight. There's no way. The Cowboys are going to put a fight up. I agree with 304. I think the Cowboys are going to come in and they're going to fight for this. Okay? This is their Super Bowl. Giving them an opportunity, not getting swept by them. Hey, by the way, can somebody tell me this? When is the last time the Eagles swept the Cowboys? What year was that? Jahan Dotson needs to be used in this game. Jahan Dotson has been a colossal disaster. When's the last time the Eagles swept the Cowboys? Do you guys remember? 2017, Kyle, the Super Bowl year. 17. Thank you, Flexen. Okay. By the way, Cowboys don't have CeeDee. You're right. They've shut him down. Okay. I don't think the Cowboys have a lot, but I think they're going to fight. I've got the Eagles winning 28-20. Okay. I think they're going to be okay as long as there's no turnovers and Cooper Rush doesn't play out of his mind. I don't know who the hell he's throwing the ball to. Okay, I don't know what they have on offense. You take CD off that offense, seriously, man, it looks like a practice squad roster. I mean, now you just don't know what a backup quarterback is going to do. You have no idea what a backup quarterback is going to look like in a game. Does he drop it? Does he turn the ball over? Does he force the football in? I think there's going to be very few passes in this football game. This thing's going to look like a 1974 Eagles-Cowboys game. I mean, combined, there could be a total of, but I think Cooper Rush is going to put the ball up a lot. Okay? Like, I think they're probably going to put up the ball 35 times, the Cowboys. They got it. They have nothing else. I think the Eagles probably put the ball up 14 times. That's what they're looking at. 14 times, 45 carries. And I'm great with that. That's a game plan. Dude, you're looking to survive and get out of here and get Hurts back in the starting lineup against New York, put New York to sleep. By the way, if Jalen Hurts and if Minnesota, Green Bay are playing this weekend, if Minnesota beats Green Bay, I'm not playing Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley in that Giant game. Unless Barkley is like 100 yards shy of the record. That's when I would play him. But if he's 160 yards shy of the record in the final game, I'm not playing that dude. No way. And knowing full well that I would like to have a bye going into my wild card because I got to play a wild card weekend, okay, I would definitely sit there and say, I'm not playing in that Giant game, any of my big-time players. Okay? I'm not. Okay? That's why this this Cowboy game, you got to get this win. Because if you don't, you're forced to play it to win the division because the Commanders can still win the division, which we, by the way, predicted. Okay? That's right. Washington could lose to Atlanta. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that game Atlanta, Washington. That's right. Atlanta, Washington. It's in D.C. or Landover. It's in Landover. I've got 28-20. This is a big game. I never thought this game was going to matter. And the Cowboys are going to play like it matters. John, that doesn't sound like a awful prediction. Because if they take care of business, that should be kind of, but I got 28-20 because I don't know how the backup quarterback's going to play. I think your defense is great. We were talking about earlier, so is this defense better than 22? And I said no. And do I think this defense is in the conversation with some of the best defenses that you've had since 2000? Absolutely. And it's trending up. By the way, if they win the Super Bowl, they'll be better than the 17 Super Bowl defensive football team that stopped Brady and Belichick. But as of right now, you can't really, it's incomplete. I mean, nobody in a million years would ever turn around and look at Vic Fangio and say Vic's a better coordinator than what Jim Schwartz was. Jim Schwartz has had number one ranked defenses. He's got a Super Bowl ring as a coordinator. Vic has none of it. Vic has never had a top-ranked defense as a coordinator. He's never won a Super Bowl as a coordinator. None of those dynamics. None of them. Okay? I'm not saying he's not done the best job this year of any coordinator. By the way, I don't really think Vic Fangio's done the best job this year of any coordinator in the league. I think Brian Flores, the Vikings, has. I think it's those two dudes. Steve Spagnuolo continues just to be marvelous at what he's doing in Kansas City. But Minnesota has done a spectacular job in Minnesota in what he's done. It's between Vic and Brian Flores. Okay? Just a tremendous job. Tremendous. Last year, Minnesota's defense was just as wretched as the Eagles was. Okay? Eric said Spags is the best. He is. Because he not only knows what he's doing when it comes to schematics, but he also knows what he does when it comes to developing of players. He's got 4 Super Bowl rings. As a coordinator. Is there anything else to be said about that? He is by far the best defensive coordinator that we've seen in the last 40 years. Now, if you want to call Belichick one as a head coach, sure, okay, then it's Bill. But Steve Spagnuolo, there's nobody in the league that has a better resume than him as a defensive coordinator. Nobody. It's not close. Nobody has 4 rings. There's not one defensive coordinator that is in the NFL today, outside of Belichick, that has 4 rings as a defensive coordinator. Nobody. I can't name you. Maybe Bud Carson when he was with the Steelers. Okay? 4 rings. So I got 28-20. Okay? I got 28-20. I think yet to be determined. By the way, guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. I appreciate you guys coming aboard on this Football Friday. All right. Here's to go down the line here a little bit on what we were saying. By the way, our friend Jason Cole will join us at 4:30. Good start to rebuilding? Absolutely. By the way, that defense, the Eagle defense next year, it's going to be interesting to see how they follow up what they did this year. Okay? Because a lot will be determined on how the offense runs. One of the things that helped that defense out so much this year, okay? One of the things that helped this defense out so much this year was the way they ran the ball. The running of the ball helped develop the defense for the Eagles this year. Because the passing game, you get too many 3-and-outs. But when you get a running attack like the Eagles have, you're limiting the opposing team to the amount of plays. How many times did we see this year throughout the year? Most of the time, the Eagles had 70 plays, and they held teams to 45 or 50 plays. One game, they held them to 41 plays. I can't tell you how that helps develop a defense. Keeping the other offense on the sidelines, that's exactly what you do. Good coordinators never stay on the same team. Well, I don't know if Spags is going to get another shot. Okay? If he doesn't get another shot at head coaching, why would he leave? They pay him as high as some of the NFL head. You know what? Steve Spagnuolo makes almost as much as Nick Sirianni. Why would he leave? To take what? The Jets job? Why would you want to take the Jets job? To be fired in 2 years? Have your reputation damaged? Why would I take that shitty job? I'd stay in Kansas City, build my resume up, become a Hall of Fame coach, go down as one of the greatest coordinators of all time with Andy. Go with the ride of Mahomes. You know, Steve Spagnuolo could end his career with maybe 7 championship rings as a coordinator. Why would he fucking leave to go coach the Saints? Well, for what? $1 million extra? Ton of shit? Bad organizations? Who wants to do that and go to Carolina? Why would I leave Kansas City and go to Carolina? Why would I do that? When I'm in the friendly confines of the organization of the Chiefs and Clark Hunt, why would I leave that? That's why you don't see a lot of great potential candidates of head coaches in the NFL anymore. You know why? They're all going to the college ranks. I told you, there's about 40 coaches that make more money than Nick Sirianni in college football, or as much. Why would I leave? To do what? Like I said, coach the Titans? You see that stupid thing they're doing? To prepare for the Jaguars, you know what that Coach Callahan, that young coach, is doing? He's got a garden hose and he's spraying down players as they're coming through the line of scrimmage and they're simulating running through tacklers and they're spraying them with a garden hose. I was like, what in the hell is that? What's next? Waterboarding? How stupid do you have to be? I mean, like I told you before, I'd rather be this. I'd rather be Kirk Ferentz, coaching the University of Iowa, making $8 million a year, winning 8-9 games every year. The alumni's not pissed at me, and I could stay there for 20 years making $9 million and make $100 million. To do what? Listen to Howie Roseman bitch at me about why I'm not throwing the ball more? Fuck that. I'm not leaving that. I'm not. And now with Nil, dude, college football is where it's at. It's not the NFL. It's why Belichick's got no pressure on him at Carolina. To what? Win 8 games? Go to the Aloha Bowl? Who gives a shit? Make $11, $15 million a year? College football's where it's at when it comes to coaching, not the NFL. Why in the world do I want to go and coach Chicago? Virginia Hallis has destroyed the team. You know, they were chanting on Thursday night in that 6-3 debacle. They were chanting, sell the team. Can you imagine? George Hallis' daughter has destroyed the team, the Chicago Bears. And you're screaming at the Hallises to sell the team. And the Hallises are moving the team out of Chicago, and they're moving it to some suburban area or some racetrack or some shit like that. The fucking Bears are a train wreck. So when you guys are always saying this, Sills, we're a good organization. You are. You got great fans. You got a great organization that wins a ton of games. You just don't win the right game. The only thing wrong with the Eagles, you don't finish the job. You don't finish the job. You don't finish the job. I mean, facts. Hey, Sills, are you saying that what's his name? My friend who always says it to me. Sills, you say, we're a good organization. I dump on you because you don't finish the job. By the way, I do want to say that I'll tell you one thing that Deion Sanders has done that I absolutely love. Deion Sanders has opened up people's eyes to give people like Deshaun Jackson, Michael Vick, Eddie George, and some of these other guys an opportunity to be first-year head coaches and to take over programs. Deshaun Jackson was just named the head coach at Delaware State. I think it's fabulous that finally, why wouldn't I want that knowledge of that player? Can you imagine Deshaun Jackson picking a phone up and calling a recruit and saying that I would love to have you come and play for me? If I was a skilled player like a wideout, I'd fucking bend over backwards to go play for that guy. And that opens the door for more minorities to be able to be a coach. My problem, again, and now I don't think it's a problem, but Delaware State is not quite Maryland or Virginia Tech, but that's okay. It's his first gig. Okay? It's his first gig. But I think that's a fabulous. My number one issue and number one reason that I started doing sports talk radio was because of the inability of college football programs and administrations to give minority coaches an opportunity to coach in college football. I think it's a travesty. When you have 137 programs in this country and you have 8 black coaches, that's an appalling number. That's an appalling number. Somebody tell me right now, how many black coaches are in the Southeastern Conference right now? How many black coaches are in the SEC? Is there one? Is there a black coach in the SEC? There's got to be. There's got to be a black coach in the SEC. Florida, Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Vandy, A&M, OU, Texas. No. So the number one college football conference in the country, okay, there's 14 teams. Doesn't have a black coach. Sounds normal. Sounds normal. How's that possible? Dude, Deion Sanders at Florida scares me. Can you imagine Deion in the South recruiting those black kids down there? Holy shit. That would be amazing. They'd win 10 national titles. That guy's a legend. Walking into black family, single-parent homes. I want your kid to come play with me. Look what I did with Travis Hunter. Frightening. I want him to stay at Colorado. I want him in the SEC. Destroy Miami. He'll be down in Miami every day recruiting kids out of South Florida. Not what I'm looking for. Okay? Dude, you start getting black coaches that are superstar players in the NFL and the SEC, and they go down to Miami, you're going to pull every kid out of there. Let me tell you something. Randy Shannon wasn't the first black coach at the University of Miami. Jimmy Johnson was. Okay? Jimmy was. All right. Sunday. Here's the comparisons for the Cowboys. Like I said, 28-20. Okay? 28-20. I got the Eagles winning this game. Okay? Let's see what Philadelphia says. Ain't funny that the best college coaches come from the teams that get all the talent. Teams like Alabama and Georgia and all those great teams have great talent, and it's all perception. It's not perception. Here's why this guy's wrong. You know why Philadelphia is completely wrong? That the SEC, he's saying that the SEC is overrated. I'm assuming you're saying that. All you got to do is look at the draft. Okay? Hi, Mr. Super. Can you put it up there for me, my friend? Dan, love your show, man. Fellow Connecticut guy here. Do you hate the Eagles? Absolutely not, because you grew up a Giant fan. When I grew up, I didn't like the Eagles. I can't stand the Jets. Growing up in Connecticut, you had to be one or the other. Well, my uncle's Andy Robustelli weapon. So I think you have to give it to me a little bit. Plus, he was the general manager of the team. And so my rivalry back in the day, when I was a young kid, Joe Krause is running the show today. And Joe knows what that neck of the woods is up there. When I grew up, man, Cowboys were nobodies to me. I didn't give a shit about the Cowboys. Giant fan. I cared about the Eagles. The Eagles were our rival when I grew up. I'm probably showing you my age. I didn't give a shit about the Cowboys. The Cowboys blew their horn all the time. But you know what was New England football to me and East Coast football? Giants and Eagles. That was East Coast football to me. I grew up on that rivalry for pro football. Pro football to me was Eagles and Giants. Cowboys? You know why the Eagle fans hate the Cowboys? Do you know why you guys hate the Cowboys? Because they got big mouths. Not because they're good. They got big mouths. And you hate anybody that has a big mouth like you. Okay? That's what you hate. Because your rivalry, the rivalry I knew growing up were the Eagles and Giants. Dude, I knew your whole lineup. I didn't give a shit about the Cowboys. I thought the Cowboys were full of shit too growing up. Funny, I became one. You know how I became a Cowboy? Andy Robustelli called Tom Landry up. Tom Landry and Andy were teammates. That's how I got on the Cowboys. I actually was on the team, Tom Landry's final season. He signed me to a contract in November. November prior to Jimmy getting there, I was a Dallas Cowboy. I was in Dallas. I just wasn't activated. But I moved to Dallas the year before Jimmy got the head coach. 88, I think it was his last year. I got to Dallas because of Robustelli. He was the defensive coordinator of the New York Giants. You know who the offensive coordinator was? Vince Lombardi. I grew up around the Giants in Wellington, Mare. Okay? I mean, right? Now I don't root for the Giants because Wellington. I'm friends with John Mara. John Mara came on my program about 5-6 years ago, and we're very friendly. Okay, I love John Mara. I don't really know the Tisches that well, and that entire organization has changed since George Young, former general manager that was there. So I'm not really close to those guys like I used to be. John, I know well. I could pick the phone up or text him at any time. By the way, he's still aggravated about Barkley not being a New York Giant. I mean, he's completely happy for him, but he's not very happy that what that guy is doing, that never happened in New York. You know what? Can I tell you what I told John Mara? I said, John, I'm not going to tell you a lie here, man. If you had done the things and your organization had done the things with Dave Gettleman and all these guys that have gone in there as general manager, and even at the very end, Jerry Reese, and had built a team around Barkley, he'd be going to Canton. Saquon Barkley's not going to Canton, Ohio, unless he's buying the ticket. And he's got Hall of Fame talent. What a shame. What an absolute shame that that guy has Hall of Fame talent and won't go to Canton as a player and have a gold jacket, because right now he's like the 80th, second ranked rushing guy in history. He ain't going anywhere. Okay? That's a bad deal. Saquon, that's why, to me, that record kind of matters. Because Barkley can always say, you know what, man, I had my career wasted in New York. And when I got to a good team, if you're a voter, I don't know how you don't do this. Okay? I don't know how. What was his response? He didn't respond. Senor, he didn't respond. I said, it's a damn shame a team wasn't built around him with a decent quarterback. He never responded. That's how I know I was right. I think it's a fucking shame that Barkley's career was wasted in New York. What a testament to this year. If I was a voter, I would really take all that into consideration. As a Hall of Fame voter, dude, this guy gets to one place that has a good football team, and he's running like he's O.J. Simpson, or he's running like Adrian Peterson. I don't know. The guy's got Hall of Fame talent. What a shame. That's an absolute crime. I mean, he's explosive like Emmett. He's like Emmett and Barry. He's not going to Hall of Fame. He's just not. Okay? He's just not. Great player. And you know what? I never thought that he would be that good. All right. So here are the comparisons this year and what your football teams have done against one another. This Sunday, I think it's a 1:00 game, if I'm not mistaken, Eagles and Cowboys. Total offense. Cowboys are 16th. They've improved a lot. 304, if you're in here, you've improved over the last month as an offense. You've improved that number. The Eagles are 6th. This goes back to my open. Get this. This goes back to my open when I asked you if this offense has taken its toll on the skilled players in your passing game. You put up more yards, total yards, in running the ball than you do in passing. You're the only contending team that does this. You're the only contending team that puts up more rushing yards than passing yards. Of all the teams, you're the only one by far. You're averaging 183 yards passing, which is 31st in the league. Shit, the Cowboys have a better passing game with Cooper Rush, with 232. You average rushing 187.9. You put up more rushing total yards. This is like a 1984 NFL offense. It's like an Army offense. More rushing yards than passing yards in a passing league. I mean, we're in the NFL passing league today, and you guys run the ball more than you throw it. Okay. I mean, it's getting it done. And our conversations with Seth Joyner has just absolutely become stupid since he's left JAKIB Sports. He's an idiot. He's got the most asinine, idiotic takes I've ever heard in what and how he looks at that offense and what that thing has done this year. This guy's gotten stupider since he left JAKIB. And you tell him I said that. We've gone back and forth on text messages and also on X. This guy's turned into an idiot. I don't know what's happened to him. It's probably Odyssey. It's not hard if you work there. Yeah, it's not that hard. If you work at at Odyssey. Oh, by the way, real quick, I'd like to thank Kevin over at Cross-Dressing Broad. You guys, I got to tell you, man, thank you for keeping updated with, our legal actions and such, because I know that Odyssey right now, if you really want to look, I think they're trading at about 2 cents, and I think iHeart is probably at 1 cent, and I believe Beasley just had to split their shares, and I think they're trading at 1 cent, and all these places, that Philly sports place, they're canning people on Christmas Eve. But you want to talk about us, okay? Okay. Hey, thanks a lot, I guess. Way to go. Yeah, Cross-Dressing Broad. We'll try to tell you that we have legal issues, but when you have a stock and you have shareholders like Odyssey does, I know, I worked there. And I worked at iHeart for 18 years. And you're trading. Hey, my stock is about as good as the best outhouse wallpaper right now for iHeart. I could use it as outhouse wallpaper, and it would be more value. It used to trade at $38 a share. Now it's trading at 4 cents. Hey, how you doing? Guess what, Joe? I got 50 shares of a stock that's a penny stock that's trading at 1 cent. Hey, okay, I'm in there. We need a Big Sell Seth boxing match to settle the beef. Jesus Christ, we're going to go old school and we're going to go back and fight back in the day in the Coliseum. I want it in Rome if we do it, okay? I want to get on Big Joe Krause's private Gulf Stream, and I want him to take me over to Rome, and I'll do it then. Only way I'll do it is if I get on a Gulf Stream and you take me over there. It's the only way I'm doing it. How you doing? Okay, that's it. Only way I'm doing it. Yeah, Steph got stupid. I can't believe how dumb he is. Those takes are dumb. I tried watching the thing. I'm like, what is he talking about? Does he actually really? You know what his comment was? Well, hey, now everybody sees how the importance of Hurts is. Dude, if anybody loses their starting quarterback, you're going to see the importance. Anybody is going to see it. That's not a take. Yeah, Joe Krause has got he's got a G8, I think I heard. That's what I heard. Yeah, him and Xander go to Zurich all the time. I don't know. That's what I heard. I think that's one of the perks that Mike Missinelli didn't get, and so he's all pissed off. I don't know. Yeah, something had to happen there. All right, so this is where the difference is, though, where you guys are going to win this game on Sunday with defense. You guys' defensive numbers have been insane great. Kudos to Vic. You're number one in total defense, giving up 281. I'll tell you what, man, you got 2 games left. I hope he gets it. For the first time in his 47-year career, Vic Fangio's got the number one defense as a defensive coordinator. I hope he gets it. They're second in pass defense, just by a little. 178 given up. Last year, you were 31st. Okay? You were 31st last year. Rush defense, you're 9th. That's kind of slipping. Actually, I think it's 4th. My bad. Or 9th, 102.9. Scoring, you're 5th. Really a great year. Really an absolutely great year. The Cowboys have gotten better. 304. This is going to be their Super Bowl. Okay? This is going to be a really good football game, I think, on Sunday here. Okay? I do. Seth's overall football takes are solid. X's and O's, can't mess with Seth. Okay. Yeah. X's and O's. Oh, what's his excuse for the offense not playing and being effective this year at all? 0. It's because Barkley runs the ball? That's not a good take. Every team in the league strives to have balance in their football offensive attack. So you're trying to tell me that you pay $51 million in two receivers and $50 million, $101 million, you're telling me you pay to have the 31st ranked offensive passing team? Really? And if you want to add Goddard to that, that's another 50. You pay almost $120 million in 4 players to be the worst passing offense in football. Is that right? Is that right? That's a good take? Where? How does that economically even make sense? I mean, where does that economically make sense? How is that? And then you guys are saying it didn't take its toll. Oh, okay. $120 million in 4 players, and you got the worst passing offense in football. And you're telling me that Seth has good takes on the passing game. Where are they? Well, we're 12-3. You're 12-3 because of Barkley and the running attack, not anything in that passing game. They're all decoys. Your quarterback's a decoy. Your receivers are decoys. All decoys. What are you doing? I love being a rushing team. I do too, and physical. Yes. Last year I thought you were a finesse team. You know how we beat Kermit Mahomes? Keep him off the field. I'm also fellow Paisan. Good work again. Thank you, Weapon X. I appreciate that. Okay? Thank you. I ain't paying the money. It's okay. Yes, you are. You just don't know it, Maniac. Look at Maniac. Says, I'm not paying it. Really? You're not, huh? Okay. I'll remind you of that in March when your season tickets go up 18% over at Lincoln Financial. I'll remind you of that. Or your cable bill goes up again because of property rights that the cable companies like Comcast have and pass it down to you. I'll remind you of that. And Maniac goes, I'm not paying it. Oh, yeah, you are. They're called hidden taxes, my friend. Okay? They're called hidden taxes. I'm not paying it. Really? How many people believe that the Eagles are going to raise season ticket prices again and game ticket prices? I do. Got to pay them bills somehow. They ain't paying it. Oh, when those cable rates go up? Here's old Maniac. Damn, my cable bill is $375 a month. How's that happen? You're paying for the NFL. You ain't paying for the NBA. At least I hope you're not. Who in the world will watch that shit? You see LeBron James and his phony ass come out on Christmas Day? I love the NFL, but NBA, we own Christmas. Shit, dude. They have 5 times the audience you did. You had MLS ratings compared to the NFL. You had 2 shitty games on Christmas Day that got 25 million people a game watching it. And these guys had like 5 million. That's not a bad number. But I know Caitlin Clark games that had numbers like that. It's like the MLS. Pretty soon, the NBA, well, all that bullshit telling me how to vote and what's this and that and taking these. Pretty soon, guess what you're going to be? You're going to be like WNBA non-Caitlin Clark games. 800 grand, 900 grand. Nobody's watching. Here, I'll make this point to you also. LeBron James has done less to improve the audience of the NBA of any player of that level in history. I can't think of a game in his career that was must-tune TV for me. Now, look, Steph Curry and KD, I've kind of tuned in for them. They made me kind of tune in for a couple of their games. Michael Jordan, when you're comparing LeBron to Michael Jordan, I'll tell you one thing he owns. Michael Jordan owns the ratings belt. Tiger Woods, Mike Tyson, Michael Jordan. That was must-see TV. That was appointment-setting television. That's what we do here with appointment setting. That's why you put benchmarks in your show or you do other things. It's because you have appointment setting. LeBron James is nowhere near appointment setting. They have lost half their audience, 50% of their audience in 10 years. 1 out of every 5 viewer has turned off the NBA. Why? Because of dickheads like Joel Embiid. I don't feel like practicing today. It's not, it's 3 games this week. You crazy? Those guys make $800,000 guaranteed a night. This guy goes, I don't want to work. Nobody in Philadelphia wants to support somebody who doesn't go to work and support me and my passions to go over to Wells Fargo. Why would I fucking pay to go to Wells Fargo to watch what? Guys who don't give a shit about you. And then you're going to build them a stadium or arena. How asinine is this thinking? You're going to build an arena for people who don't go to work. Right? Is that correct? You're going to build an arena for a league that players who don't want to go to work. Is that right? A whole new wave of Philly sports fans today. Dude, I don't think it's a Sixer thing. I think it's an NBA thing. This thing's an NBA thing. That's why nobody watches it. I love their dying. Taking these, telling me who to vote for. There's no coincidence. It's tied into Disney. How are they doing? All right. Nick Sirianni spoke today. I want to hit a little bit upon that, on what Nick had to say today. He actually did a pretty decent job today. Don't forget, Jason Cole is going to join us. That'll be at 4:30. Week 17 of the NFL. The playoff picture, too, is starting to settle up here. We will talk about what Nick said today. And again, it is Cowboy weekend. It's an important one. But don't forget about our great friends at BetUS. Guys, we have teamed up with our friends at BetUS, and it has been an absolutely spectacular year here with our friends at BetUS. You get a chance to join up with the YouTube 150 right there. You see it, folks, all the way up with your sign-up bonuses up to $2K. Your second and third are 125%. And if you're into crypto, that's 200% of your signing bonus up to $2K. It's the home of Michael Vick, the brand new Norfolk State head football coach. This is his home as well. BetUS.com.pa. That's BetUS.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service. 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major games. BetUS.com.pa. That's BetUS.com.pa. And do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an Audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sil's National Football Show. Please hit the like button. I appreciate it. Oh. Dude, well, once again, look, this is always a go-to here for idiots like this. What the fuck does race have to do with it? Honest to God, man, what does race have to do with it? He has been responsible for ratings being down, LeBron James. He's not elevated the game like Tiger elevated golf. Tiger elevated it in a white sport. That's a fucking stupid racist take. Okay? And by the way, that shit doesn't work anymore, guy. Fuck that take. Okay? No one's hiding under their desk anymore when you say bullshit like that. Nobody. Nobody's saying that shit. Josh Harris is a DC native and is a Redskin fan. You don't give a damn about Philly. He just wants your money. Of course he does. That's it. Okay? Hoss, I don't talk in race. Okay? I talk in sports. Okay, I do. I'm not justifying that shit. Okay? Yeah, honest to God. By the way, hit the like button here. I gotta say this. Okay? Get this. No, I'm not addressing it anymore. Okay? I'm just not. Okay? One last time. Only white folks say race doesn't matter. Oh, it did matter in the NBA ratings. Race did matter. Oh, it did. You're right. Rolling 100%. It mattered. Because you know why? Last comment. No one comes here for my political talk. They barely come here for my sports talk. Just like I don't give a shit what an actor says about who you should vote for president. I don't care what that guy thinks. I don't care. Okay? I go to your movies for a reason. I like you as an actor. I don't like you as a human. I don't know you as a human. And you don't know me. So don't make these aspersions on it. Okay? I mean, hey, all good. I'm sorry. Again, here, let's just move on here. So how many people think Kansas City? Okay? How many people think Kansas City is lucky? How many people think Kansas City is a lucky 15-1? Do you? Okay. How many people believe that Kansas City's lucky? 15-1. going for their third Super Bowl in a row. Why? Why is Kansas City once again back to being and playing good football at the right time of the year like they did a year ago? What's the difference between Kansas City and Philadelphia? What's the difference between those two franchises? By the way, you can make the argument, Niner all day. There's a difference between you and them as well. Okay? What's the difference between Kansas City? Bags. Okay? It's simple greatness. Can't argue. KC has experience. You guys do too. The quarterback and constant coaching. Love this. Look at this. KC's three-peating. They're great. Hey, Mint, I'll make this comment to you. And before we move on, Mint, I'll ask you because you brought this up and I think it's a great comment. Brady's 7 Super Bowls are winning 3 championships in a row. The last time there were 3 championships in a row were the 65, 66, 67 Green Bay Packers. And I think there's only been 4 teams in pro football history that have won 3 championships in a row. Okay? I mean, we're talking about iconic teams. Okay? Would that be greater than Brady's 7? 3 in a row, and it'd be his 4th. It'd be his 4th Super Bowl, and he's not 30. This guy's not even 30 years old. Have 4 rings? Chasing immortality. Absolutely. This is something, this is not being covered enough. This is an insane moment. You're talking about something that the Dolphins had a chance to do. The Patriots had a chance to do. The Broncos and the Cowboys had a chance to do. In our lifetime. I think the Steelers had a shot. I think they won back-to-back as well. Okay? I mean, here. Here's what they have that the Eagles don't have. They've got ownership that are football people. Clark Hunt grew up around his father, Lamar. Isn't it funny? The NFL Players Association gave the Kansas City Chiefs an F and gave the Eagles an A in organization. The NFL Players Association, okay? The NFL Players Association graded the Kansas City Chiefs as an F in ownership, facilities, everything. They gave the Eagles an A. Why? Because Kansas City doesn't spend money on stupid shit. The players are hungry. It's all about one thing. It's about winning. I can give you a little bit of my background to this. Back when we were winning with Jimmy Johnson at the Hurricanes, we had the worst facilities in the country. Worst facilities in the country. Wasn't about the facilities or the stadium. We had an old crickety stadium, the old Orange Bowl. We didn't have anything that was decent. Do you know that when we had to practice, we practiced on the baseball outfield for AstroTurf? And then we'd go into Oklahoma and beat the fuck out of you. You know why? We cared where we played. Because the organization paid us or cared about us, did whatever it took for us. It was all about winning. Kansas City, it's magnified even more. You know why? All they care about is winning. It's not about fancy facilities or Slurpee machines. It's about winning. And it's been that way since Clark Hunt owned the team and now his son. They got the best head coach, the best coordinator, the best general manager, and the best quarterback. There's no place in the NFL that has that dynamic. That's why they're better than everyone. It's really not about the roster. You think Kansas City's roster is better than anybody else's? You think their roster is better than the Eagles? I don't. You think they have a better roster of players than, say, when healthy, 49ers? No. Okay? You think they have? No, they don't. They have the best coaches, GM. Let's take a look at that with Philly. Do the Eagles have the best GM? I think the Eagles general manager, in my opinion, compared to Brett Veach, I don't think he's even in his conversation or in his room. You know why? When you go to Kansas City, you go to Kansas City to win. You're not going there to get paid. Nobody gets paid in Kansas City except Chris Jones, the center, the quarterback, and Travis Hunt and Travis Kelce. No one else gets paid. And when your time's up, they move you. You don't go to Kansas City to get paid. You go there to win. Because of that dynamic they have. Your general manager whiffs quite a bit. Huff's a whiff. Dotson's a whiff. You know, the whole thing with Reddick was a whiff. Barkley's been a grand slam. Okay? The young rookie players look like they're it. We'll see. 1 year and 12 games or 15 games don't make a career, but it's a fabulous start. Okay? The guy in Kansas City learned everything in the Philadelphia. They took the blueprint from the Patriots. Absolutely true. They say we're not paying you, and the quarterback doesn't need much to win. He's already proven that. Just think about this, Lord's Grace. Think about this with that comment that you just made there with that, okay? And I'll make a comparison to Zach Bond and what they did up in New England for all them years. Edelman, Amendola, that's Zach Bond. Amendola or Edelman was a Super Bowl MVP. And he was a nobody in college. I think he was an undrafted free agent. I've made the comment to you before on this one too. The New England Patriots never won a Super Bowl with a first-round draft choice at any skilled position. Except later, maybe Sony Michel. But early, there were no first-rounders that they drafted. Brady wasn't a first. Wes Welker wasn't. Hernandez was a fifth-rounder or something like that. Deion Branch, I can't remember where he was drafted. They never had, the quarterback was a sixth rounder. I didn't have any of that. And what's the most important dynamic that's similar to Kansas City? No big-time wideouts. You got two big-time wideouts. They have none. And between them, they won 9 Super Bowls. Now, in those 9 Super Bowls, Tyreek Hill is the only guy that was a big-time player. When his number came up, they moved him to Miami. That's it. Sills, being an ex-player, how does Kansas City go all the way and win Super Bowls without one holding penalty? When I saw what I know, the NFL is on their side. The greatest O-line could not do that. Come on. Weapon. They get the benefit of the doubt. Jalen Carter doesn't. Gardner Johnson doesn't. You know how you guys have a reputation with Gardner Johnson? They have a reputation with Mahomes and Kelce. It works both ways. Yes, it's true. You build up equity with these refs. Well, you think Mahomes is not going to get the benefit on PI? Of course he is. And you know this. Is on their side? No, the equity that they build up. Any big-time Brady had equity. Remember a couple of years ago, Brady got sacked. I think it was by either Carolina or the Bucs. And they extended the play. Brady throws the touchdown, and they beat him. And you're like, wait a minute. That's equity. That's right. That's exactly correct. Reputation calls are part of sports. Jalen Carter and Gardner Johnson are a prime example of the bad. Mahomes and Travis Kelce are a prime example of the good. It's the reputation calls. Absolutely true. You think Kansas City's not getting calls and you are? Why would the Eagles get calls? AJ gets them. Devontae will get them. Hurts will get a few of them. I always thought that they had a problem legislating penalties on dual threat guys. I think dual threat guys are not reffed correctly. I think if you hit Jalen Hurts and he's running up the sidelines and he's getting out of bounds and you hit him late and you don't call a flag on that, I got a problem with that. Because you're supposed to be protecting him. Now, what Hurts did, he did that to himself, not sliding. Dude, you want to play a little hero ball? You're going to pay the price, and he did. Now he misses a game or 2 games. That's hero ball. Wanted to get the extra yard? Why the fuck do you want to get an extra yard in a Kansas City game? Competitive juices? Fair enough. That injury is 100% on Jalen Hurts. Per Tom Brady. On him. Get down. You're more important to your football team on the field than you are in the tent or on the sidelines. Gaining a yard. How many times have you heard Brady say in a game, what's the end game on gaining a yard or a first down if it's going to cost you a player or if it's going to have too much high equity on what could be a disaster? It wasn't a dirty play. That's all on Jalen Hurts. Nobody was fined. Nobody had any issues with it except Eagle fans. That's on Hurts, that injury. 1,000% on him. Get down and you have no issues. Like Brady says, you want to be that guy? You're going to cost your team. Really? Well, I'll tell you what. Nobody was fined. Nobody was even questioned on it. And Tom Brady even says it all the time. Quarterbacks have to learn to slide in this league to protect themselves. They do a poor job of it. And that was a number one example of it. The number one example of it. And you don't want to hear it? Oh, shit, I don't care. Hey, comes with the territory of playing hero ball. Just does. Before I get to what Nick said today, Brady's not God. So who you believe? If Tom Brady gives you advice on how to play the quarterback position, who are you leaning on? Your opinion? I'll listen to Brady. Brady would be my God compared to you. Okay? Hey, okay? God created Tom Brady for a reason. Hey, Tom, way to go, man. You took all the things I gave you. You turned out to be the GOAT in football. I'm going to listen to him. Okay? Oh, will we? Way to go. Oh, really? What a fucking dumb take. Really? Hey, thank you, Captain Obvious. How physical exactly this comes with the territory. I don't want to see him change his ways, though. I get it. I like his aggressiveness. Okay. Josh Allen was super concussed, yet stays in the game. Must be a race thing. You're a fake fan. I'm not a fan. I never claimed to be a fan. Fake fan? Who said I was ever a fan? I don't root for teams. I love fan bases. I love great play. I don't root for a team. So I don't know what you're talking about. Fake fan? Fan of what? So you want me to come into Philadelphia and start saying that I'm a fan of the Eagles when I'm not? Oh, I will say this, though. I will say this. Rest in peace, Bill Bergey. I had 2 jerseys when I was a young kid. Leroy Selman, number 63, and Bill Bergey, Eagles 66. Those were my first 2 football jerseys. Don't ask me how I got the Bill Bergey. I do not remember how I got the Bill Bergey 66 jersey when I was a kid. Rest in peace, but I had it. And I secretively rooted for Bergey. And I loved watching him play when I was a super young kid. Okay, I had 2 jerseys. They were my very first. I think my only ones that I ever had were as a kid were Bergey and Leroy Selman, number 63. And I even my aunt is watching, and I even carved them on my grandfather's steps. And I drew 63 and I drew 66 on my steps in my gym I had downstairs. Okay. Let's see. So why is a guy who could care less about it? I'm not reporting on anything. Well, what's it to you, Marcus? Who I talk about? What are you? What's it to you? Yeah, rip Bill Bergey, man. Absolutely. Rip Bill Bergey. Hey, by the way, has Jalen Hurts been officially ruled out? Has he been officially ruled out? No. Get down. Damn. I hope that don't cost you where you have to play the Giant game with everybody on the field. He's out. Oh, no. Dual threat. Switch. Hey, man. Rolled out completely. Got to get him back. Hey, you know what? In the end, might be the best thing. It might be a silver lining here. Might be a silver lining. Get him some rest. He doesn't have to play. And now you got picket season. Hey, you'd hate to lose 3 in a row on the way out the door, wouldn't you? There's no way you're losing to the Cowboys and the Gigantes on the way out, and the Commanders on the way out the door. There's no way there's no way you're doing that. So let's see. Let me see something here with Jalen. Okay, so Jalen will probably finish the year because there's no way they're going to play him. Here's Jalen's year this year. 3,290 yards passing, 20 touchdowns, and 6 picks. That's what he'll throw for this year. Right now, he's at, wait a minute. Right now, he's at 2,903. So, wait a minute. That number will be less because they won't play him. So, Jalen Hurts is going to throw for less than 3,000 yards this year and have 18 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. That's where he is right now. 2,903, 18 touchdown passes, and 5 picks. It's quite a year. It's quite a year. No, you're right. Hey, the running style had no effect on it You're right. The running style, I'll re-ask the question before I say this on Nick again. Let me ask you one more time here. So you don't think that the running style had an effect on this? So Jalen Hurts will this year, he'll throw the ball for 2,903 and 18 touchdowns. A.J. Brown will have 64 catches. He had 100 a year ago and 1,000 receiving. And Devontae will have 62 catches and about 800 yards. And they've had 2 years in a row where they went over 1,000. And one guy barely goes over 1,000 this year. And you pay him $150 million between the three of them. No, you're right. There's just coincidence. A.J. Brown missed games. No shit. Style of play. Thank you. No shit. No shit. A.J. missed 3 games. No shit. No shit. This guy's talking to me about 2 years ago. Oh, man. No shit. That was my topic starting the show. That was my topic. Hey, you're winning games. What's costing you the health of these other guys in production? Production's down across the board, and so is health with this style of play. And Hurts has now been ruled out. I don't know. How in the world are you not finally seeing this? Oh, no. That's the 31st worst passing offense in pro football. And you're still trying to freaking tell me you think that there's no coincidence to it. Okay. That's right. 12-3. I didn't say it's not working, asshole. You completely are missing it again. That's not what I'm saying. I asked a question. This is what I do. I ask a question. Do you think the style of play has cost production and health on the offense? Yes or no? Simple. Now this guy's trying to be a mind reader. You seem to enjoy it. Enjoy what? A question? Enjoy what? What are you talking about? I can give a shit either way. If the guy plays or not. It's football. War of attrition. We all know that. Guys get hurt. People in Detroit get hurt. Who fucking cares? I asked you a question. You seem to... How stupid. You act like I sit here and I'm praying for players to get hurt. Why would I want Jalen Hurts out of a game? So what? I could call and comment on shitty Kenny Pickett? How stupid are you? You can't be dumber. Who in the world wants to cover a team that has a backup quarterback in it? I mean, you're out of your mind. Let's see McKee. You might. If Kenny Pickett goes out there and shits the bed, you might just. Okay, get this. I'm not saying it didn't work, but it's cost you. You know what it's cost you? Your passing game did not develop this year, nor did your quarterback. And your players, your skilled guys, were hurt the entire year because of the style of play. That's a common, that happened. That's what happened. Okay? That's what happened. Sirianni doesn't have a fucking system, guy. Sirianni's system. Will you tell me? Let's do this. Jalen Hurts this year will probably end the season with 2,903 passing yards and 18 touchdowns and 5 picks. Barring any kind of freaky thing that happens, he's not playing in that giant game either. Okay. Do you think the passing game has improved this year under Kellen Moore? Yes or no? The reason I ask is because you've invested in it. $50 million on the quarterback, another 51 on the 2 wideouts, and another 15 on the tight end. It's $116 million in 3 players. Or 4 players, excuse me. Has it improved? Yes or no? Simple question. It's a yes or no answer. No bell curve here. Do you think the passing game has improved? This is what Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman have drafted players for, traded for players, and given contract extensions to, right? Their actions dictate we ask the question. Well, they gave A.J. Brown a contract extension when he had 2 years remaining on his contract. So obviously it was important to them to extend him. Well, he's had a completely down year. Well, still, he's missed games. No shit. According to these numbers, no. Get this. Wayne says according to these numbers. And last year, AJ had 1,500 yards and the other guy had 1,100 yards. And Hurts threw for 3,900 yards. And he says, no. Okay. There's no commenting to Wayne because Wayne doesn't want to hear the truth. Okay? And by the way, one more time, you're 12-3. I'm not suggesting that your run game is not the best in football. I could make the comment that the guy in Baltimore and those 2 dudes in Baltimore are good too. But I would say it's you and the Detroit Lions. Those 3 teams are the best running attacks in football. Okay, so here, look at this. It's not a new system. It's the 23 offense. No, it's not the 23 offense. Those guys in 23 all get contract extensions at wide receiver. Every player that was on that team at 23 got a raise because of what they did that year. Devontae got a brand new contract, 5-year contract extension, and AJ got a new contract extension and more money. Because what they did, over 90 catches, over 1,100 yards for Smith, and over 15 for AJ. That's not the 23 offense. That's not true. Okay? Okay? No. Has the passing game improved? Are you comfortable with where you are here? Let's go here. Let's take a look at the 3 teams. Minnesota and Detroit. And see where they are. By the way, they're in a 10-time tougher division than you. Okay? 10-time tougher division. 3 teams are coming out of there that are going to make the playoffs. It's still yet to be determined if Washington makes it. Okay? Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at these other teams here that you're going to be contending with in the playoffs offensively. By the way, guys, please hit the like button here. Let's take a look at this. So here are some of the offenses that you're going to have to be going against. It's going to have to be a great defensive effort. So the Ravens right now, well, that's AFC, so you're not going to. Here's the Lions. The Lions are number 2 in total offense. And the Vikings are number 12. Okay. Eagles are 6th. Okay. That's total offense. And this is kind of what you've done and who you are, as I've been saying. So let's go down and look at the passing attack. So in passing, Lions are number 2. Best record in football. Best record in the NFC, by the way. Okay? So they're number 2. And the Vikings are number 8 in passing. Vikings, number 8 in passing. Let's see here. And let's see where the Eagles are. Eagles are number 28th. No, excuse me, 31. Eagles are 31. So the Minnesota Vikings are 8th in passing, and the Lions are number 2 in passing. Let's take a look at rushing, which favors the Eagles, obviously. Eagles are number 1 in rushing. Number 1. Number 1 in rushing. Where are the Lions? The Lions are number 6. And the Vikings are number 16. Okay. So the Detroit Lions are number 6 in rushing. And the Lions are number 2 in passing. You are 31st in passing and number 1 in rushing. Let's take a look at scoring. Lions are number 1 in the NFL in scoring. They average 33 points a game. The Vikings are 9th. And the Eagles are 8th. So pretty much Vikings and Lions have had a more balanced offense and a tougher division with a tougher schedule. That's why they own the tiebreaker. They own the tiebreaker because they play tougher opponents than you. Because if you have the same record and it comes down to the Vikings and the Lions are getting home field. That's already been determined on the tiebreaker. I mean, and the Lions have been more balanced. The Vikings, to some extent, have been more balanced than you. They're 16th in rushing and number 8 in passing. You're 31st in passing, 1 in rushing. So like I said, and I'll ask again, do you really think your passing game has improved? Not going to lie, just get a win. Doesn't need to be pretty. Hey, no, that's what it's been this year, Khalid. That's what it's been. They're going to, in my opinion, I think for me, win this game. Get this Cowboy win out of the way so you can rest everybody in the New York game. Okay? Rest them all. That, you're going to look at the end of the day and you're going to go like this. Wow, were those numbers across the board? Remember something. You're paid on numbers. You're not paid on wins. Nobody is paid on wins in the NFL. You're paid on production. Your own individual production. AJ's paid on production. Hurts is kind of one of the only guys I've ever seen paid on wins. Everybody else in the NFL is paid on numbers. The contracts dictate that. Tyreek Hill is paid on numbers. Justin Jefferson is paid on numbers. CeeDee Lamb is paid on numbers. Trevor Lawrence is paid on numbers. Kyler Murray is paid on numbers. Every football player in the NFL, Myles Garrett, paid on numbers. TJ Watt, paid on numbers. Not paid on wins. Nobody's paid on wins. Okay? No, they didn't already get paid. See this guy right here? Here's another non-educated dude. He wasn't getting paid in Kansas City. He wanted $20 million. He wanted whatever it was. And Kansas City said no. They traded him to Miami and they got all those draft picks. They never paid him. They never paid Tyreek Hill. That's not true. That's not true. They never had their money. And when did Trevor Lawrence become the highest paid quarterback in the league? Or now it's Dak. Dak's not paid on wins. Dak's paid on numbers. What does he want? I missed that too. You guys are all under the impression that these players are all paid because of winning. It's not true. And when you got a guy like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, you can get rid of players. You get this. Like I said about Josh Allen earlier, Josh Allen had $70 million taken off of his salary cap this past offseason, and they're still 12-3. 95% of you guys told me that Josh Allen was going to come back to reality. Josh Allen's going to win the MVP award, most likely, unless Lamar wins it. What do you mean come back to reality? He's a better player today because he doesn't have a primary target. You think the Eagles are battle-tested? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Especially when you're a physical football team. Patrick goes like this. Why do you hate the rushing game so much? I don't. But don't try to suggest to me you have the passing game. Once again, Patrick, you're missing my point. Nobody's hating it. But what you want to be and what you are two different things. You know how I know that? Salaries. Look at Kansas City. Kansas City is a Patrick Mahomes team. They're a passing team. But they run the ball with a 7th rounder or 6th rounder in Pacheco and a free agent in Kareem Hunt. Who are their wide receivers? Hollywood Brown and Rashid Rice? Who the fuck are those guys? And they're 15-1. They spend no money on skilled guys. None. Rashid Rice. Who else they got in there? Now, look, I think DeAndre Hopkins, but they got him on a cheap deal because they got him from Tennessee. And they only had to pay, get this, you paid more for Dotson than what Kansas City paid for DeAndre Hopkins in a trade. Hopkins is starting to come around again. Get this. Worthy's a 32nd player taken, and he's on a rookie contract, making $1 million. Okay? This guy makes less money than Dotson. I mean, who are they paying? They got Juju Smith-Schuster. They're beating people with dudes. Dudes. You got the highest payroll for any offensive football team, and you got the worst passing attack in football. This is not what you paid for. But, like you said, it's working. But it's come at an expense. You guys are missing my point here. You're totally missing my point here. Okay? Nobody's saying it's not. Get this. Here, you want to see a dumb comment? Acting like the Chiefs are blowing everyone out. Laughing my ass off. Let me laugh here's something else to laugh your ass off at this Eagle fan here. They're a dynasty. They're going for 3 in a row. They're 15-1. Okay? You're going for nothing in one. This football team is a dynasty. And they're 3 games away, 3 wins away from three-peating. What a dumb take. Anytime you put the Eagles and the Chiefs in your mouth to try to compare, there is no comparison. They finish, run through the tape. You don't. Facts. That organization finishes the job and the task at hand. You see, because I told you earlier, they have the head coach. They have the coordinator. They have the other coordinator. They have the GM. And they have the owner. Clark Hunt stays out of the way. Jeffrey Lurie doesn't. Jeffrey Lurie is not a better owner than the owner in Kansas City. You know why? He hires people to do their job and gets out of the way. If you're not comfortable with who you hire, I mean, why are you still in the way if you're comfortable with the people you hire? Why are you still meddling and involved in every decision that you have to be made? See, I think the great owners are like Bob Kraft and Clark Hunt. You know what they do? They're so comfortable in their hires, they sit back and watch success. They don't direct this. They don't direct success. They direct it with their hires. Okay? They're comfortable in their skin on who they hire. Jeffrey Lurie has to be involved in every decision making, in the draft room, who to pick, game plan. He's got analytics. His kid's involved in the analytics. Those guys aren't doing that in Kansas City. They didn't do it in New England. Secondly, your general manager is a good GM. Brett Veach is better. You know why? They have a capologist, and then they have a complete talent evaluator. And you know what they do? They know that they have the quarterback. They don't overpay people that aren't going to deliver Super Bowls for them. I've made this point to you before. Big-time wide receivers don't deliver Super Bowls. Okay? Nobody. Jefferson doesn't have one. Chase doesn't have one. Brown doesn't have one. Hill got one, but he wasn't paid. Maybe Cup. He took a hometown discount. And outside of Cooper Kupp, I can't think of another guy. Mike Evans didn't get that contract that he has now when he won the Super Bowl with Brady. No, Tyreek Hill was still on. That's not true. He wasn't being paid. When he wanted to get paid, they traded him. That's not true. And by the way, he'll never win another one. He surely won't win one in Miami. Okay? He won't. And by the way, Andy hires all the best staff. Do you realize back in the day in that 2004, 2003 staff, you had John Harbaugh, Steve Spagnuolo, and you had Sean McDermott on that coaching staff that Andy had assembled back in the day. And those guys are all tremendously successful today. Okay? Again, right? There's just none. They know what they're doing. And the Eagles, by the way, the Eagles head coach, Andy, that's a joke. I mean, the whole thing with Zach Ertz, the kid acts like, and I call him a kid, Nick Sirianni, he's a kid. Still acts like a stupid ass on the sidelines. But hey, you know what? He gets credit, I guess. Joe Douglas back on the Eagles scouting team again. I wouldn't mind that. I think Joe does a nice job. I think he did a nice job. But then again, you had another shitty owner, Woody Johnson. Woody Johnson is an awful owner. He's an awful owner. You know why he's an awful owner? He thinks he knows what he's doing. Those are the most scariest people on the planet. When you're an employee and you got a boss and this guy's telling you something and you know it's fucking not going to work and he swears it works and you just watch everything just go down the drain and this guy doesn't listen to the people he hires, that's when you know you got a bad boss. I mean, look, the boss has to make the final decision because that's his call because it's his sandbox. And it's his ass on the line. I get it. And there's a role for everyone. But hey, if you look at the people you hire and you don't trust the people you hire to make the decisions to help you be successful, what the fuck you hire them for? Like Nick Sirianni's I don't get it. I don't know what it is. Again, like I said, Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh, people consistently compare those guys. It's the biggest joke on the planet. Those guys have complete control of their teams. Okay? Hey, I agree with you. You got to, hey, Professor, win this game against the Cowboys. Put them out of their misery. Cowboys are going to give you a game. They're going to give you a game. And what I don't want is, I want the Eagles to get that bye against the Giants in the final game. Again, if Barkley's close to the record, Professor, sure, give him a shot at going after it. But he better be like 100 yards close to it. You know what I mean? If he's like 165 yards, I'm not doing that. I'm not. There's too many banged up guys right now. Quarterback got banged up. The receivers have been hurt all year. Okay? I'm not doing that. And the Giant game, if I lose it, who fucking cares? If I'm in the two-hole and I can't do any better, the game doesn't matter to me. Do you understand right now that in the AFC, all of the playoff positionings are set right now? Okay? They're set right now in the AFC. Top 4, which means this. Kansas City knows they're 3 wins away from the Super Bowl. KC, Buffalo, Baltimore, Houston, Pittsburgh, the Chargers, and Denver. There's your top 7. With Indianapolis, Miami, and Cincinnati on the outside at 7 and 8. And I think Cincinnati's got Denver this weekend. In the NFC, Detroit and Philadelphia. Philadelphia's in the 2-hole no matter what. The Rams are in the 3-hole. The Falcons are in the 5-hole. You know why it's set right now? Because Minnesota, even with their record, it's either Minnesota or Detroit are going to be a wild card. They could be 13-4 and be in the 5th hole because they're a wild card because of the NFC North. It doesn't matter. This is seeding. So Philadelphia wins this, but see, they got to win this game, and then they got to win the following week. Or Washington has to lose to win the division. If Washington wins out and you drop this game, that Giant game matters. You got to play it. And you got to play it. Jason Cole will be around the corner. Hopefully we're able to catch up with Jason, our good friend again. We'll talk to him about we'll get a hold of Jason and our friend from Yahoo Sports, NFL Hall of Fame voter. Let's take a time out here. Let's do this with our good friends at BetUS. BetUS, again, folks, make sure you team up with our great friends here for the YouTube 150 sign-up bonus all the way up to 2K. Gotta love it. No question about it. Your second and third sign-up bonuses are 125%. Second and third, and if you're into crypto, that's 200%. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business, 24/7 personalized service, 365 days a year, live wagering on all major games. Please go to, again, our friends at betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And make sure you do that. By the way, instead of taking a timeout, we're going to catch up with our friend Jason Cole now. We'll go to him and we'll get him an opportunity to get his thoughts on this weekend for the weekend this weekend. Jace, how you doing, man? Hopefully you had a great holiday, my friend.
I had a fantastic holiday. Thank you for asking. Everything is great.
I got to throw something at you right away here.
Uh-huh.
In 2029, the National Football League has an out in their TV contracts, and because of what happened the other day with Netflix and how much money and looks like really record viewership, you see the NFL after 2029 completely going to streaming and getting away from the networks because, again, I'm hearing a lot of people saying that the National Football League sees another way to make gigantic money and revenue stream. Do you think they ever get away from network television?
You're going to have some political issues with access to games. You have to make sure that people who don't necessarily have internet providers and service, which is not a huge part of the country, but is particularly important for older folk and people who can't afford it and won't pay for streaming services. You're going to have it out for them to protect your antitrust exemption, which means the network's always going to have some way to survive. But I also think that the networks eventually just become production companies for Amazon, Netflix, Google, Apple, whoever buys them, right? They're already being propped up as assets to buy, because the networks know where this is all going and they know who's going to buy it. So yeah, I expect I expect an opt-out, but I don't know what that opt-out exactly looks like. I can't give that to you just yet, because there are major legal issues to deal with.
How about this here too, Jace? Let's get into some of the weekend comments here and some of the things that are shaping up here. Who are you taking right now, Kansas City or the field, if you were to pick a Super Bowl champion?
I thought you asked me this before. I took Kansas City
did.
before. And
I did. Now they're 15-1, and I can't get away from it now.
Right, and I told you Kansas City then. I'm telling you Kansas City now. I was right then, and I'm right now. So, the Chiefs are deciding, like, it's that time of the year. Like, they stopped joking around. What they did over that 11-game stretch, where everybody was worried about how they were going to play and how they were going to perform, and were all these games going to catch up with them, and blah, 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 blah. They just came out and toasted everybody, including a good, not great, but good Pittsburgh team. That a defense, they just made those guys look silly to me. And hold on one second here. Okay. I'm crossing the street to go to Levi's Stadium.
I see that in the background. Yeah. By the way, it looks dope.
It always is. It's great. But sorry for not being positioned already. But anyways, we'll be in front of the 49er helmet in a moment. So
I love it, man.
Yeah. So anyway, look, Kansas City knows what it takes to win games. They figured it out last year after all the mistakes that they made during the regular season of losing games with drop passes, and they got through it in the playoffs and they played seriously. This year, yeah, they won a bunch of kind of close games, ugly games, and everybody's whining and complaining about them, saying, oh, they're the most overrated team in the league at 12-1 or 13-1. And then they came out and they trounced Cleveland, they trounced Pittsburgh, they trounced Houston in 3 consecutive games over an 11-game stretch. And they're going to rest Mahomes for this week in the final week. He's going to have 2.5 weeks to get his legs healthy for the playoffs and for them to be sharp. Kelsey played really well for the first time, pretty much all season. He's ready to go. And I think they go through the playoffs and they hammer everybody. And it's 3 in a row, and it's one of the greatest accomplishments in team sports history.
I believe I'm with you here on this one. Hey, by the way, since you're in San Francisco right now, or Santa Clara, let me ask you. If you're the 49ers and you know that Sam Darnold's on a 1-year contract up in Minnesota and you know how much Kyle loves the guy, do you play Kyle? Do you go Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy? Do you have a conversation going, who do I think gives me the best chance to win a Super Bowl, Brock Purdy or Sam Darnold? Because Kyle said last year how much he loved him. He loved the guy. He loved the guy's skill set. They just had Brock Purdy.
Yeah, I watched practice. I watched practice.
Hey, Jason, wait a minute. He's going to throw for 4,500 yards this year and 40 touchdowns, and he is 12-3.
Right, but you have to be able to run a Kyle offense. Okay, you got to be able to do certain things in a Kyle offense and move around and change platform and stuff like that, especially with an offensive line that's not great. Okay, and they're not going to be they'll have Trent Williams back next year and they'll improve a little bit here in a couple spots, but they're never going to be really truly great. You got to be able to play off platform, and I like Sam Darnold a lot too, and I think he's finally at a system and in place where he's going to go. I think he's going to do everything in his power to stay there after the career that he has had. And even though they got to deal with the J.J. McCarthy stuff and navigate that, I think Sam Darnold's going to sit there and say, I want to play for a guy who believes in me and knows me, who I'm comfortable with, and he's going to want to stay there, right? And as much as he got a lot out of playing for the 49ers, and Kyle's a fan, he was clearly behind Purdy. There was never any chance he was going to beat out Purdy. And there are certain things that they do in their offense that he's not particularly comfortable with. Like when they boot out to the left and have to throw a little bit, he doesn't do that very well. Or when they roll out, he's a pocket guy more so than Purdy. Purdy's, a little bit smaller, a little bit more athletic, can do some things that Darnold just can't. And so, we can play that game in the public. It's a different thing than when you watch practice.
Yes, it is. All right. Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, who's had the best year in the NFL this season?
Josh Allen. Josh Allen doesn't have Derrick Henry next to him. And I'm not trying to look. Lamar Jackson in most other years would be a runaway MVP. In fact, Lamar Jackson this year is better than Lamar Jackson last year when he won the MVP. The difference is Josh Allen last year was throwing the ball to the other team way too much. And this year he's not. He's fixed that part of his game. And they took away weapons from him. Like they took away Diggs. They didn't add guys for him. And he's playing great football. And so I love both of those guys. But I ripped Josh Allen last year. I shouldn't say I ripped him. I just said I marked him down for the interceptions that happened last year. And sorry for the plane going overhead, but it's Santa Clara.
I like it.
Yeah, but Josh Allen fixed that problem at a time when they desperately needed him to fix that problem in order for them to be a contender. And frankly, Buffalo's just better than Baltimore this year during the regular season. We'll see what happens if they play again. But they're the better team. And so I'm going with the guy who's on the better team, who's accomplished more, who has a little bit less talent around him. Because, look, Derrick Henry changes the way that a quarterback is able to play. And so all those great stats that Lamar is putting up, the low interceptions, the high volume of rushing yards, all the things that he's doing very effectively are because he's got one of the best running backs in the league, if not the best running back in the league. We'll have the Saquon debate, but Derrick Henry's right up there among the best running backs in the league.
Who needs the Super Bowl more, Jason? Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen?
Lamar Jackson.
Why?
Because I think that the number of opportunities he's going to have over the length of his career is shorter than Josh Allen. I know they're both runners, but I see Josh Allen eventually making a conversion to a more of a full-time pocket guy and lasting longer doing that because he's a bigger guy, whereas I think it's going to be harder when you start getting the year 9, 10, 11, 12 for Lamar Jackson and he can't run like he runs now. I think it's going to be harder for him to make that conversion to being a full-time pocket guy. So he needs it more now. Sadly, I don't think either one of them is going to get it.
Two last questions for you here. If Jalen Hurts, which he's been ruled out, he's not playing against the Cowboys this weekend, most likely probably won't play next week against the Giants because they're pretty much slammed into the second hole because Minnesota and Detroit, even though Minnesota's got a big game against the Green Bay Packers, some things could still play its way out, but it looks like they're in the 2-hole. When I throw this at you here, give me your perception on how you see this. He's going to end the season with 2,903 yards passing in 15 games, 18 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. His football team won a boatload of football games, but they're the 31st ranked passing offense in pro football. How do you constitute that as being elite when people constantly say to me that this guy's a good player, and yet I don't see elite numbers? I see a bunch of wins, but again, Jace, I've seen players on rosters before that have been like Trent Dilfer, that have won a Super Bowl. I wouldn't call him elite. I mean, when I look at Hurts, how do I look at that when he's not amongst the elite passers in the game? Or how do you look at him?
I think he's a really good player. I can win a lot of games with him depending on what I have around him. And the better running back I have around him, the better chance I have for him to be an effective quarterback and win games. I don't like people read stats the wrong way. And I know what you're doing here to create an argument, create a little controversy. No, don't even open your mouth. I know the game. I know the game that you're playing. He's not elite because he doesn't produce these kinds of numbers. And you're right. He's not. He's not an elite passer. He's an effective passer and who knows how to win games given what they put around him. And over the next whatever he's got left on that contract, 4 years, 5 years, whatever it happens to be, as long as they keep putting guys like this around him for that period of time, he's going to win games. Now, the question becomes for Jalen Hurts, does he become more effective at the things that he needs to do, like getting through progressions, reading, making certain reads, having better touch on the ball? Does that happen over that period of time that then makes him an elite player at quarterback, and then you do consider him that? Because I don't know that his evolution is done. It may be, and what he has right now is good enough, okay, and good enough to win a Super Bowl. He was within a bad call of winning a Super Bowl 2 years ago, right? And he's still right there because of the competition in the NFC. But is he a truly elite thrower like a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes? No, of course he's not. You can see that. So, but okay, I can win games with him.
I know what you're doing. All right. Hey.
Yeah, I'm saying that, the numbers don't look. The only number that matters is, do you win games, and do you win games in a way that can consistently work? And I don't know why somebody's honking their horn, but they are. But can you win games in a way that consistently works to make you a Super Bowl competitive team? Competitive team. And the answer to that for the Eagles is absolutely 100% yes. They are a Super Bowl competitor, legitimately one. They were 2 years ago. The wheels fell off last year. The wheels are back on this year, and they got a great team, and they got a really good shot at it.
Finally, the Cowboys. Of course, I have to end there. CeeDee Lamb has now been ruled out. Why are the Cowboys in the position they're in right now, where they are sitting there with a chance to go 500, 8-8, but they've been already eliminated? What happened to the Cowboys this year, Jason?
Well, a lot of things happened to the Cowboys, mostly the defense. There's a series of mistakes that happen with the Cowboys. Give me like 10 seconds for this plane, 5 seconds.
I think you're at LaGuardia. You're over at LaGuardia here.
I know. Well, because Mineta Airport is like right across the freeway from the stadium.
Right.
The first thing is Jerry made a gigantic mistake by not going out and getting a Derrick Henry and having a running game that complements what they do in the past, because they were built to be an offensive football team with a lightweight defense. It's sort of like what Jimmy Johnson had in the early 90s. Score points early in games, play with a fast defense so that you can pass rush people and get after people, right? Like that's what you want to be able to do with that defense. But it's lightweight. And they're not big at all at defensive tackle. And when you have that and you can't score on people and you can't run the game and control the game at all in any kind of tempo, people are just going to mash you with the running game. And they got mashed. They got overpowered, and they got hurt. So not only were is it a bad fit in the way they were constructed, but then they got damaged. And they got themselves in too deep a hole, and then everything else fell apart with Dak.
I want to sneak this in on you here, and I'll let you go. If I'm Mike McCarthy, why would I stay there? Why would I want to go to another place that gives me an opportunity with maybe a little bit more control of my personnel? I mean, Jason, you're really pigeonholed with the ownership that's always going to have control. If you're Mike, why do you stay in Dallas? What's the end game for you? Why not go somewhere like Jacksonville, where you can take Trevor Lawrence, see if you can do something with him? Why would he stay in Dallas? He's contracted.
Well, I mean, all right. The first thing is somebody going to take you? Is somebody offering Mike McCarthy a job? Because I'll say this: if somebody is offering Mike McCarthy a job, and they're hitting up his agent saying, like Jacksonville saying, look, we'll do this. We'll sign you. Okay. Then you got to think about that. But Mike has to get that offer first. And Mike had some problems getting an offer before, which is why he took the Dallas job in the first place. Knowing it, like, this is not some kind of how would I put it? It's not some kind of overwhelming dawning of information for Mike McCarthy of what's going on with the Cowboys. This happened before. They knew about it. Right? He knew about it going in. So how was he ever going to, like, knowing that, he still took the job, right? So he's got to get a better kind of offer. And he didn't have that kind of offer before. So this may be the best place for him. This is where he may just end up.
I'll say this, Jace, on the way out the door here, this guy's won 174 games as an NFL head football coach, and he's coached.
He's Dan Reeves. He's Dan Reeves.
You also think he's then George Seifert, somebody like that?
He's not. Seifert won Super Bowls. He's Dan Reeves. McCarthy won a Super Bowl. I take that back. But, the sum total, he's a really good coach. He's really good. And a lot of teams would be happy to have him. But most owners don't even understand that. Like, they don't understand the value of what coaches are. So, like, I would hire McCarthy given the situation, especially if I was in Jacksonville. And if I was McCarthy, I would want out of Dallas. But that has to happen. The circumstances have to fall into place.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, Jace. Have a great time there in Santa Clara. Make sure you get up to the Bay Area. Get down there on the Embarcadero, man. They got great grub, Aliados. One of my favorite places to eat. I love that place for lunch.
I'll be there over the weekend. So
you got it. Thanks, Jace. I appreciate it.
Good. Thanks.
You got it. Our good friend Jason Cole there on the left coast. And, Mike McCarthy's record, if you look at it, Mike McCarthy in Dallas is 49-33 in 5 years. One more victory, he'll average 10 wins a season in Dallas. And obviously, like you said, 1-3 in the postseason. But Dallas has only won 4 postseason games in 30 years. And he's got one of them. Look, do I think Mike McCarthy's a spectacular coach? No. But I think Mike McCarthy has coached 2 of the most highest profile teams in NFL right now with the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys. And you got one organization with no ownership, and you got one who's a constant meddling with the head coach. They've only had one head coach that's performed there and won Super Bowls in playoff games, and that's Jimmy Johnson, okay? And Jerry has never replaced him. They've replaced him with decent coaches. Mike's probably the 3rd best coach they've ever had there after Parcells and Jimmy Johnson. If you were going to rank in Jerry Jones's time as head coaches, you would rank. You would probably rank. No, I see somebody down there saying Mike McCarthy's Barry Switzer. That's not true. Mike McCarthy's a play caller, and Mike McCarthy coached Aaron Rodgers and Dak Prescott. So that's not true. I got a little more respect for Mike. Okay, guys won a Super Bowl, coached really 2 of the most difficult franchises that you could have. Okay. He's a pretty damn good coach. Now, again, is that somebody you want around Trevor Lawrence? Somebody like that? Because I want a play calling head coach. I think that's one of the issues the Eagles have is that and by the way, think about it. You coach one of the craziest personalities too with Aaron Rodgers. You had to deal with all that bullshit. Okay? You had to deal with it. And then you had to deal with Jerry Jones. What's different? Hey, Yale, talk about dealing with personalities. The guy had to deal with Aaron Rodgers, and then he had to turn around and deal with Jerry Jones. Okay? I had to turn around and deal with them dudes. Trevor Lawrence is a bust. I don't think he's a bust. I just think, again, I just think Trevor Lawrence is not what he is been built up to be, and he hasn't lived up to his reputation. But I will say this to you, Troy. After what I've seen with Baker Mayfield, Yale, tell me this. after you've seen what happened to Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, these guys turning their career around, I'm not going to be so sure to give up on these guys right away. You're trying to tell me you think Cleveland wouldn't want Mayfield back? Or the Jets wouldn't want Darnold back? I think in today's NFL, this comes down to coaching. What kind of coaches do you put? Look at Caleb Williams in Chicago right now. Caleb Williams. Okay? Caleb Williams. Get this. Forrest Hill goes, or Buckner goes like this. Mayfield had good years in Cleveland. Then why'd they move off him and give a guy a fully guaranteed contract? Why'd they move off him? And gave a guy $230 million in guaranteed if he had good years there. And he was the number 1 overall pick. Okay? Caleb Williams has had dogs around him as coaches. There's 2 places that you know they will not develop quarterbacks. You ready? The Jets and Chicago. They refuse to hire quality offensive coaches. I don't know why. You know the best coach in the last 10 years or maybe 12 years in New York with the Jets has been Rex Ryan. I mean, Rex got to AFC championship games at least. Rex has been the best coach in the last decade in New York. I can't tell you the last decent coach. Oh, I can. They fired Lovie Smith, who won 10 ball games. 10 ball games he won in Chicago, and they fired him. Shit, Chicago would love to have 10 wins. Chicago cannot develop a quarterback. I mean, it has been a massive issue for them all these years, man. No question. And if I am a team, if I'm a football team now and I drafted a quarterback number 1, my number 1 priority, here, look at this. Let's go here. Kellen Moore. Are you firing Kellen Moore at the end of the year because he didn't improve the passing game? Are you firing him at the end of the year? No. You did not improve the number 1 thing he was brought in to improve on. He did not improve it. He did. Howie Roseman improved the Eagle offense, not Kellen Moore. How much creativity do you think it takes to have a run game? Kellen Moore didn't improve it. He didn't improve the passing. He didn't improve the offense. When you improve the offense, hey, that guy Johnson has a top 3 rushing attack and passing attack. How come the Eagles can't? You're paying for it. Anthony, okay. Anthony, I'm asking you. What's the offensive coordinator's name? What's his name in Detroit? What's his name? Brian Johnson? Is his name Brian Johnson? Okay. Well, that guy's got the number 3 passing attack and the number 4 rushing attack. Okay. And he got the number 1 seed as of right now in the NFC. And he's improved. Ben Johnson. That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Buckalter. Ben. Thank you, Jim. Okay. Kellen hasn't improved one side of the ball. It's cookie cutter. That's what I called it. Okay? Here, Jack goes like this. Dude, it is black and white. What are you paying for? You're not getting, it's not cost effective. That's for damn sure. Kellen was never the right fit next to Jalen. Just more experienced play caller. and designer than Brian Johnson or Ben Johnson. That's exactly true, Forrest. He's a better play caller. That's the only thing that's improved from Brian Johnson of a year ago. Yes, that's it. He has not done a very good job. And with the physicality of the offense, it's taken its toll on the skilled players. I'm awake, are you? Moore gets all the blame, no Sirianni. That's how the organization looks at it. Kellen Moore was hired to improve the offense. And the only thing that has improved has been the run game. It's not been the passing game. It's just not been. I love that guy, Monken. Monken and Steichen have experience and success working with quarterbacks like Jalen Lamar. I love Todd Monken. I think Todd Monken, look at the job that Lamar Jackson has done this year. It has been remarkable on the job that he has done this year. I mean, what an absolute incredible job that he has done this season with Lamar Jackson. Take a look at these numbers here. They get a win the other day. And by the way, he has been absolutely spectacular. Derrick Henry. I think Derrick Henry is only 55 yards behind Saquon. I know he's played an extra game. I understand that. But get this right now. Lamar Jackson has 3,955 yards passing with 39 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. He's on pace for 4,300 passing yards and 41 touchdowns with 4 picks and 900 yards rushing. I don't know about you. I know that Lamar or Josh Allen is probably going to win the MVP, but how don't you give a guy the MVP that's going to have over 5,000 total yards, 41 passing touchdowns, lead the NFL in passing touchdowns, have only 4 picks and 900 yards rushing? That's incredible. Right now, I would say this to you about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is without a doubt, he's better than Vic ever was. He's one of the most gifted athletes to ever play the wide receiver or the quarterback position I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like this. Hey, Yale, 4,300 passing yards, 41 touchdown passes, 900 rushing, 4 picks. Fucking insane. I mean, right. I've seen Lamar, you and I, in the Eagle game. You go like this, what's he doing? And then you look at him and you watch him play. You're like this. Insane. I've never seen anything like that before. He throws to nobodies too. Well, he's got Zay Flowers. By the way, Andrews had a good game in that too. He's just, hey, will anybody have 1,000 yards receiving this year? Yeah, Zay Flowers will have 1,000 yards. And he throws a Rashad Bateman, Mark Andrews. There'll be 1,000 yard. Derrick Henry most likely is going to end up with 1,900 yards rushing. I think that number, if I'm not mistaken, I think there are only 55 yards separating Barkley and Henry. See, I got a feeling this is going to go down. Barkley gets a ton of carries. He gets about 140 yards. That'll put him about 195 yards ahead of Derrick Henry for the final week of the season. And he'll need 200 yards to break the rushing record, or to have the rushing title over Saquon Barkley. So if Barkley has a big game, I think he's going to get about 140 yards. That's what I would say. That would be my prediction. He gets about 140 this week. And then next week against the Giants, they don't have to play him. And Henry would have to go for 200 yards to get the rushing title. And if he goes for 200 yards, he'll also be at around 19.5. Could potentially get he still could get potentially 2,000 yards because he's about 19. He's at 1,900 yards right now. We're 1,838, something like that. I doubt he gets $2,000. Okay, I doubt he gets $2,000. I think Barkley's going to win the rushing title. I think he's going to have a big week this week. It's going to put him over. Let me see something with Saquon. Yeah, Saquon could be right at 2,000 yards if he gets 140 yards rushing. Okay. Eagles made Lamar look regular. No, they didn't. They outgained him in every single number. That's not true. Actually, the Ravens did a nice job defensively against the Eagles in that game. I don't know what game you're watching. You had 240 yards of total offense in that game. Anthony, it wasn't like you guys were putting them up. Okay. See, this is my issue here, too. He's right. I mean, they're going to stack the box on Sunday, the Cowboys. Okay. He's not going to play if the division is won. Yeah. I mean, if Washington loses and you beat Dallas, now if Washington and you win, okay, I don't know how that works. I think they just have to win one game. If they win one, you're right. They're not going to play him in the Giant game. You're right. Let's see here. He's not going to play. That's right. He's not. Unless it's a small amount. Like you said, if he needs for 2105, he gets 180 yards this Sunday. He's going to play against the Giants. Okay? He's going to play against the Giants if that goes down. All right. Guys, don't forget our great friends at BetUS. No question about it, man. This is a great time of the year. Look at all the football. Bowl games are going on today. Some great bowl games. We'll take a look at Week 17 in the National Football League. And it is, like you're seeing, the YouTube 150 with our great friends at BetUS. All you guys have to do is log on to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. 150% sign-up bonus all the way up to $2K. And then your second and third are $125. Home of Michael Vick, the brand new Norfolk head football coach. Congratulations to him. Fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. And if you would like your own private account executive, they can set you up with that as well. All you have to do is log online to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. We'll reset. Keep it here. And don't forget, you do me a favor, you tell them Big Sil sent you.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sil's National Football Show. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. We appreciate you guys here on a Football Friday. Christmas week, great games on Saturday. College bowl games going on, too, as we speak. This weekend we'll have some really good games. My Canes are playing, too, in the Pop-Tart Bowl. Holy cow. I mean, we'll talk about Nick Sirianni. We'll reset again on what we're going to see on Sunday here. Shaq Barrett was cut by the Miami Dolphins. Any interest? Mr. International, we went back and forth earlier in the show. What are you talking about? What do you mean giving you? Big Sil's got a tray of manicotti next to him on the table. We can't see it. Nah, man, manicotti wouldn't be it. It would be Scooney Geel. Okay? Hey, you know what? Here, look at this. Hey, Ryan, thank you so much, man. For 4 hours, you said the show sucked. I can't thank you enough for being here for 4 hours telling me the show sucked. Thank you very much. I mean, your algorithm is wonderful. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. This show sucks. Thank you. I can't thank you enough for being here for 4 straight hours. Thank you very much. I saw you in hour 1. I saw you in hour 2. I saw you in hour 3, and I see you here. I can't thank you enough. Keep posting away. The show sucks. Absolutely, the show sucks. If I can have a guy posting every hour the show sucks, thank you very much. How you doing? Hey, thank you, my friend. You know, I used to have people like Dick Train down here too, man. Dick Train's here 4 hours. Every day, Monday through Friday. This show sucks. I can't thank you guys who don't like the show for show up every day for 4 hours. I can't thank you enough. I mean, hey, wait a minute. Look, how many people think the show sucks that spend a couple hours here? Like my friend 72. Can we see that? This show sucks, but I'm here for a couple hours. Hey, see, can I get a Ryan here? How many hours do you show up for this show that kind of sucks? Okay. Let's see here. This show sucks, but he stayed here for it. Haters love Big Sills. I don't know what it is. Okay. Look at it, Steven. I do. I mean, hey, Sills, I got a little triggered there. Bro, once again, triggered over what? That this dude spends his day next to his boyfriend in his hammock with his boyfriend and says, "You think I could get Sills to comment on me here today? Do you really think that? I'm going to wake up in the morning and spend 4 hours and hope he acknowledges me." And then when he jumps out of his hammock and he gets on his step stool, because you know he's 4'3", Then he writes it and posts it for 4 hours. And he's in the banana hammock with his buddy. Oh, man. This show sucks. Dude, thank you. Thank you. Okay? Thank you. Hey, Wendell, thank you, dude. Look at this guy. I don't ever remember seeing like Wendell post, but here he is. I watch you every day, Big Sills. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, hey, yeah, he's in his banana hammock and he's hanging out with his buddy Biff. And you know these two guys are going, you think I could trigger? I don't even know what that means. Make me upset? I told you. You know what I get upset about? If the stuffing is a little too hard, that's what I get upset about. Something to do with my grub. Ryan in Cherry Hill or Ryan in South Philly saying something, I don't know how that triggers me, dog. This dude's got his cannoli in his hand, and he's very happy right now. Oh, my God. Thank you very much, 5-star. I know you're one of our guys. Where's Cherry Hill? Don't worry about it, kid. You don't have to worry about it. Ryan, don't worry about it, man. I don't want to stress you out or anything. That you're obviously not from where we're from, but it's all good. I'm assuming you're probably someplace in the West Coast or some shit. I don't know, man. Only the West Coast guys talk like that. Over there? Over there? Oh, man. Hey, just tell Biff, tell Biff to log in too. I'd like to talk to Biff, your guy. Okay? Just tell Biff to log in. Okay? Hey, Biff, how you doing? I'm friends with Ryan. Oh, man. No, better yet. I'm friends with that guy from, like, Cross-Dressing Broad, that guy, Kevin Kincaid guy or something, whatever his name is. Boy, he has a Will Woodrow Wilson for us, man, here at JAKIB. You know what that means? You know what Joe Krause would say about that? Sileo, punch up. Please. He's right in a way. Okay? Those guys over at JAKIB, God, these guys, and you're like, well, I mean, do you ever see that Philly sports thing that Angelo Gargano's on? Fuck, they're firing you know who they're firing over there? They're firing the help. You can take the trash out? No, you can't because they fired the guy. Brandon Spano. Nice job, kid. All right. We're going to talk week 17. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Sunday game. This Cowboy game matters, man. This Cowboy game actually matters. By the way, I appreciate everybody coming aboard. Please hit that like button. Thank you, guys. Let's see here. The 49ers and Cowboys stink. No playoffs. Okay. Hey, I'll tell you what, Dick Track. If you don't win the Super Bowl, you'll have the biggest disappointment in Eagle history. Okay? Biggest disappointment in Eagle history. All the money, all the wins, all the expectations, and you fall short. This will go down as one of the most colossal disasters. Could we make this comment? Yale, Maniac, if you don't win the Super Bowl this year, will this be a worse meltdown than a year ago? It's awesome, bro. Okay? Will this be the biggest disappointment? No. You got to win a Super Bowl, guy. Where's my boy Maniac? Pretty close, Sills. I'll make this point to you. You don't win a Super Bowl this year. it'll be a bigger disaster than a year ago. And you're going to bring Sirianni back? Jim, help me out, Jim. Jim, 0-2. Is that the Bucs beating you at the Vet in the NFC title game? Does that sound right? Jim, is that the Buck game? The last game at the Vet? I was covering the Bucs because I was on WDAE in Tampa at the time. Yeah. I actually was like Joe Jaravicious on that team from Penn State. I think Joe Jaravicious was on that team. And they walked in there. They had Mike Allstott and Ward Dunn, and they had Brad Johnson. And I think Keyshawn was on that team. I think it was Keyshawn and Joe Jaravicious were the wideouts that were on that team. And you had Ward Dunn and Allstott in the backfield, and Brad Johnson. And Gruden was the play caller. Okay, wait a minute. Let's look at this guy who's been fucking awful all day in his takes. So Marcus thinks that if the Eagles don't win the Super Bowl this year, it won't be the biggest disaster in Eagle history. If you go 14-3 and you get bounced in the playoffs and you spend all that money, he thinks it won't be. Okay, then Marcus, where would you go with it if you don't win it? Oh, shucks, another year of not running through the tape? Is that what you would say? Yeah, Ward Dunn. He is one of the greatest people I've ever met. Okay? It will never be a disaster. Fly, Eagles, fly. 12-3 playoffs. That's not good enough. This guy wants one of those ribbons you hand out to everybody when they show up at the front door because they showed up. Dick Track's a big participation ribbon guy. Hey, look, we participated. We had a really great year. Did you win it? No, but we had a really fun time barbecuing, having a really good time. Did you win the Super Bowl? No, but it's okay. Hey, we had a really nice year. Oh, okay. So in Philadelphia, you celebrate having a fine year. Okay. Oh, good. Okay. I picked the Lions to win the Super Bowl at the beginning of the year. Yeah, no, I got it. Hey, hey, it's all a good year. Yeah, really good year, man. Shucky shucks. Shucky shucks. Oh, man, you better win that Super Bowl, homies. Remember, I put a mandate on this thing. Well, you're not going to win home field, so you're going to lose that. So you've already lost one mandate. I've told you, after Pittsburgh, you had to win the Super Bowl. You had to get home field, right? Okay? There's no more excuses. Well, you don't get it because you dropped it to the Commanders. So now you've already lost one of the mandates. Now you have to win a Super Bowl. Sills, don't think McKee should see some playing time in the next two games. No. Not putting him out there if homeboy can play. Kenny Pickett. Explain this to me, though. You signed Ian Book. Who the fuck is Ian Book? You sign Ian Book and you don't reach out and sign Teddy Bridgewater like the Lions did? By the way, congratulations to Teddy Bridgewater on winning the state championship last week as the head coach of Miami Northwestern. One of the great high school programs in all of college football, or excuse me, high school football in the state of Florida. Absolutely. And they signed him, the Lions, as an emergency quarterback up in Detroit. That's a brilliant move. You sign Ian Book. That's your emergency. Notre Dame, nobody. Because Notre Dame has always produced great quarterbacks outside of Montana and Theismann. Great ones. What quarterback in the last 40 years has Notre Dame produced at quarterback? Can you name me one? Can you name me one quarterback in 40 years that Notre Dame has produced that went on to be an NFL star? One. 40 years. Montana is a little bit older. That's about 45, 46 years. He came out in 1979. Okay? Montana left Notre Dame at 79 after the Cotton Bowl against Houston when he won the game, the chicken soup game. Okay? Notre Dame hasn't had a quarterback worth of shit in 40 years. If you're looking for a quarterback, Notre Dame ain't it. That's why they're going shopping in the portal, because quarterbacks don't go to Notre Dame. Do you understand that? If you're a high school superstar quarterback, you don't go to Notre Dame. You go to the Southeastern Conference. You go to the Big 12. You might go to the ACC, but you don't, or Big 10. You don't go to Notre Dame. Okay? Notre Dame. Can you name me a decent wide receiver that they've produced in 40 years? Let me see. How about a wide receiver? Can you name me a running back in 40 years that they've produced? Michael Floyd? Okay. If you're a skilled player, Tim Brown came out in 86. So I guess that is 40 years. All right, 87. All right. Tim Brown, 1987. Jerome Bettis, 1990. Okay. You don't go to Notre Dame if you're an offensive player anymore. They don't produce players like that at Notre Dame. It's a dog and pony show. Why do you think Brian Kelly left Notre Dame? Golden Tate is a dude. Okay? He's a dude. Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, the running back with the Rams is good. Yeah, the running back with the Rams is a pretty good ball player. He is. That's probably the best running back since Bettis. Absolutely. You're right. The running back for the Rams is good. Okay. Yeah, Michael Floyd and Golden Tate, nothing fucking major. Here's why you don't go to Notre Dame if you're one of those guys. You go to LSU, you go to Ohio State, you go to Alabama. You know why? Those schools pay money and nil. You don't go to Notre Dame. They're not paying you shit when you go there. Yeah, Corinne Williams is a good player. You don't go to Notre Dame. They're not going to pay you. Notre Dame is going to be an even lesser program over the next 5 years because of nil. Unless they change their ways. You don't want to coach Notre Dame. Or what Notre Dame will do is they'll soften their schedule up. That's what Notre Dame did. They softened the schedule. I mean, if you look at who they played this year, they didn't play anybody ranked. I think A&M, they played ranked this year. Notre Dame 2024 schedule. I don't think anybody they have on that schedule they played that was ranked, and I don't know how they got into the tournament this year. Again, Notre Dame is not what it was 10, 15 years ago. Here's Notre Dame. Texas A&M, Louisville's not ranked anymore. Navy's not ranked. Army is. And now that's the college playoff. So they've only really played one team that was ranked this year. And look who they played. Northern Illinois, Miami of Ohio. Really don't play anybody. Not like they used to. They just don't play anybody like they used to. And they just paid the head coach some pretty good money. The kid Kyle Hamilton is a good player, man. Yeah, he's a good football player. Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame doesn't produce the players you think they produce. Because here's why. And I've said it before, and I'll move on. We'll get recap again for Sunday here. Well, here's why. If Notre Dame recruits 20 players and Alabama or LSU recruit 20 players, you got to go through admissions at Notre Dame. You know how many of those guys you're getting? 7. You know how many of those guys Alabama and LSU are getting? 20. They still are holding on to their academic standards. Their academic standards are crushing their program. And they don't believe in redshirting. So if you don't believe in redshirting and you don't have an issue where you're spending money, okay, when it comes to these players, at the end of the day, you're not going to ever be a major program again. All right. So Nick Sirianni spoke today. We'll do that. We'll hit on that again. And Yale, it's a great school. I thought that was an iconic look for the playoffs. The snow, South Bend. Indiana did not belong on that field in that playoff game. And by the way, for the record, you want to know where ego is over the top? I'll show you where ego is over the top. That comes down to Shannon Sharp. So Shannon Sharp threatened Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler because they said something about Ryan Day. And everyone knows Herbstreit went to Ohio State, right? And Shannon Sharp threatened him by saying, if you ever say anything negative about me ever again, there's not enough bosses, I'm paraphrasing, at ESPN for me to say what I'm going to say about you and all the things that you said. And I'm sitting there going like this, holy shit. There's Shannon Sharp right there threatening. You know why he can threaten? Because at the end of the day, his podcast and his streaming show and all the shit that he does, he don't need ESPN anymore. Joe Krause told me that earlier. We're now in that we're kind of like insulated from all that shit now of corporate bigwigs now. I don't have to worry about that bullshit. And he is too in a way. The most popular people on ESPN right now are Shannon Sharp and Pat McAfee. You know why? They don't need them. Disney needs those two. I mean, at the end of the day, Stephen A. Smith has never pulled a rating in radio in his life. He is an awful radio guy. But because he's on that show, First Take, and the other thing that was on Fox, Undisputed, was a train wreck with Skip Bayless. I'm not even sure Skip Bayless is still alive. What happened to that guy? Those guys don't need them anymore. Streaming's the way to go. We saw that with the ratings on Christmas Day. And it's, I used to say this. Joe Krause will know these guys. I used to say this to the iHeart executives. I said it to Kevin LeGret, and I said it to a bunch of people. Instead, they used to go like this. Instead, they were talking about having me do mornings years ago on Fox Sports Radio again. I had was the first guy hired, me and Tony Bruno. And they go like this, we're going to go with Stephen A. Smith. I go, well, if you're going with Stephen A. Smith, you're not in business. He goes, we're going to go into Stephen A. Smith business. I go, well, you ain't in business then. That guy will never pull a point. It will be race baiting every day, and you'll never get any ratings. They canceled them in 5 months. As the guy stinks. Now, that's a good little niche he's got with the show. I like it. I actually like First Take. It's not bad. Okay? I mean, the TV show. But as a radio guy, he stinks. He's had more radio jobs and been fired. I've never been fired for performance. I've been fired for my mouth. No one ever went, Sileo sucks. It gets no ratings. That's never been the case, right, Big Joe? That's never been my issue. My issue is putting my foot in my mouth. Okay? No one's ever went, yeah, Sills, can you bring your playbook in? You know, your show's not getting any ratings. I'm like, well, that ain't the truth. Because that's not where I'm at. That's never been that case with me. Okay, like I said, when I was in Tampa, I had 10 shares, 25.54. Okay, I mean, I was number 2 in Miami. I was number 4 in Los Angeles and San Diego. I've never had issues with numbers. Okay, it's always been my big mouth. All right, so Nick Sirianni spoke. By the way, one more time here. I'm going to give you a little insight here of where I'm going with this here. King of sports talk, perhaps. Big thing. Hey, I'll just say this one more time about it. Hey, man, I've never been a guy where if someone said, hey, man, that guy's show has been terrible. I was, and to just put it into perspective, big jobs I've had, KNBR for 5 years, DAE for 15 years, the Miami job for a year and a half, San Diego for 5 years, and now this for 5. So in 34 years, I've had 5 jobs. Don't believe what you read on the internet. I've had 5 jobs in 34 years. April will be 35 years I've been in broadcasting. 5 jobs. Soil's been fired from every. No, I haven't. No, I haven't. Okay? No, I haven't. All right. How many people believe this game Sunday with the Cowboys is going to be a big game? How many people think this game is a big game for the Eagles on Sunday? How many? Is this a big game? Come on, Sil, pick the Cowboys to win. I can't do it. I think Kenny Pickett's better than Cooper Rush. Yale says I do. Huge game. Says Eric. I do too, guys. I think this is a pretty big game. Because game on Sunday, you win it. You kind of you've got the division wrapped up. You've got home field for at least the wild card and the divisional game. Okay? So let's take a look at that. As of right now, it would play out this way. Okay? If you're looking at it right now, Philadelphia in the opening round would host the Commanders. Okay? Green Bay would go to Los Angeles. Minnesota, even with their record, would go to Atlanta. I say this, and then Detroit gets the bye. I would do, and here's what I think the divisional round would be. Philly would beat the Commanders. Sorry, James Jones. Philly would win. Green Bay at LA. I think Green Bay wins. And then Minnesota at Atlanta. I think Minnesota wins. Philadelphia would play Green Bay. No, you would play Minnesota because Detroit would get the lesser of the records. So it would be Green Bay and Detroit. Green Bay, Detroit. It'd be Philly and Minnesota, but it'd be in Philly. You'd get Commanders, Minnesota, and then you would play the winner of Detroit and Green Bay. And if you win and Detroit loses, you host the NFC title game anyway at your place. Is that true? Greg Gumbel died? No. No way. Oh my God, he did. What a great guy. My relationship with him, he lived in Orlando. And Greg Gumbel and the entire Gumbel family. I didn't really know the brother, but I knew Greg. We had worked a little bit at Fox Sports Radio too. What an absolute awful bit of news here that Greg Gumbel died. He is a really good dude, was a really good dude. An absolutely wonderful guy to deal with. He was always friendly. Okay. I mean, absolutely, really a great guy. Rest in peace there, man. Holy cow. Is that terrible? Just a really great dude, man. Hubcats posted it. Greg Gumbel died. Tough news. Man, he's really, I used to get him on my program when I was on in Tampa, and also because my show was on in Orlando and Tampa and Jacksonville and Atlanta at one time. And Greg would come on all the time, and he'd come in studio with me and sit in studio. And it was just a pleasure. He's really good friends with James Brown from CBS. I mean, really good friends with James Brown. James Brown will take that tough. James is a really great guy. Yeah, Greg Gumbel's a legend. I didn't really think too much of his brother, Bryant, but Bryant had the best show in sports history. That show on HBO was my favorite show because it was hard hitting. They did really great stories. And Bryant Gumbel had the best sports show of all time. The best sports show for television of all time was Bryant Gumbel on that HBO show. It's just fantastic. And they're both were legendary guys. I think they're both from Chicago. And yeah, man. And so, Bryant is old. Yeah, I think he is too, Yale. I think they're both from Chicago. I think they're Chicago guys. Yeah, Chris, I asked about Jack Barrett. I think that could be something to keep an eye on. Yeah, man, he did all the college basketball games. Excellent in NFL. One of my friends, Dick Enberg, I posted a picture of my friend Dick Enberg and I. And Dick Enberg, actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he introduced me to do you guys know who Dick Enberg is? Dick Enberg has been friends of mine for a long time. And I think Dick Enberg, I think he was the guy that introduced Greg Gumbel to me. Let me see here. I'll show you guys a picture here or something, if I can show it to you. Yeah, Dick Enberg and I were dear friends. Hopefully you guys know who Dick Enberg is. See if I can get it up here. There's me and Dick Enberg. And he had actually introduced me to a bunch of people at CBS. Just a dear friend of mine. Okay, just a great friend. And every time he broadcast, because he was the broadcaster for the Padres. And when I got to, he was instrumental in helping bring me out to San Diego / Los Angeles on the Mighty 1090. He said, you got to hire this guy. This guy's the best radio guy I've ever heard. And Dick Enberg. It's funny. The two guys that got me major jobs were John Madden at KNBR 68 and also Dick Enberg at the Mighty 1090. Those two guys were instrumental in getting me my broadcasting jobs at those places because of my reputation. He goes, who do you have as a reference? I go, Dick Enberg and John Madden. And they both would always speak for me. I got my job at KNBR because of John Madden. John Madden called Tony Salvador and Bob Agnew, who were the program directors, and said, this guy's the best thing I've ever heard on the radio. I'm not kidding. And I got the job. I took over for Scott Farrell when he went for CBS's Farrell on the Bench. And they gave me a show called Sports Phone 68 at KNBR. And I came over from KGO Radio, which was news. I worked with Jim Dunbar. You know the guy from Zodiac? The Zodiac killer called into the radios. That's who he called into, was Jim Dunbar. And I worked with him and Rosie. It was Jim and Rosie. And I was doing sports on KGO Radio. It wasn't sports, it was news, but I did the sports. It was my first enormous job. I worked for ABC. I got hired by ABC. And ABC hired me, ABC Radio. And then they took me over to Susquehanna to KNBR. And I got that job because John Madden called him and said, this guy's the best thing I've ever heard. Okay. I mean, I would not have gotten that job. And then when I went out and I got fired down in Miami because I was just a lunatic in Miami. I was calling everybody out. Aaron Andrews, my own school. And then Dick Enberg goes, yeah, he's pretty rough, but if you want ratings, he's your guy. And we took that show from 02. Joe knows what an 02 is, to 6 years in 18 months. And we were number 3 in the market. And that Mighty 1090 is where the Wolfman Jack, I think I've told you this before, Gail, but Wolfman Jack was on this station, Mighty 1090, and American Graffiti. That station was highlighted. And I worked at that station. I did the morning drive shift that Wolfman Jack did. And I had higher ratings than he did. That thing was based in Tijuana. So on that network, I was on the same station that Wolfman Jack was. This is an old guy from back in the day who had enormous numbers and would end up doing like all kinds of stuff, rock shows and shit later on. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, everybody's on vacay. Let me do this here. Let me do this here before we take another time out here. I want to do the games this weekend. Before we do the game, tomorrow, Chargers, New England. Chargers will get that win. Denver, Cincinnati. You ready for this one? I got Cincinnati winning this and going to 8-8 on the year. I'm going to make a point to you. If Joe Burrow gets that Bengal team into the playoffs, he might win the MVP award because the year he's having. Okay? He might win the MVP. If that guy ends up 9-8, he could end up winning the most valuable player award. Arizona and the Rams. I don't know what Arizona's going to show up, but I'm going to take the Rams in that puppy. The Sunday games. I can't believe how shitty the Jets are. I just can't believe how poor they are, man. Buffalo's going to wax them up in New York. The only New York team that actually is the Bills. In Orchard Park, they're going to knock the shit out of them. A nothing game, Vegas and New Orleans. Man, Derek Carr's been a bomb there. How about this? Shane Steichen could get his team and will get his team to 8-8 on the year. Beat the Giants. Shane Steichen is going to have an 8-8 football team after this week. Carolina Bucks. Bucks are going to bounce back with a win. Try to stay pace. I still think they win the South. Tennessee and Jacksonville. What a shit game that thing is. I can't believe Doug Peterson is still the head coach of the Jaguars. Doug's going to be canned after this. I wouldn't doubt if he ends up in Kansas City again. Miami, Cleveland. Miami's holding on. They're 7-8. They'll go to 8-8. What a game. Who do you got here? Green Bay, Minnesota. It's in Minnesota. Man, the Green Bay can win that game. Green Bay's playing great football. Okay? Green Bay's playing great football. It's at home. I'm going to take Minnesota. Atlanta, Washington. This game matters to you. Michael Penix. I got Washington winning. Washington will be 11-5 after this week. How about that, James Jones? 11-5 Washington will be after this week. Then you've got the Monday night game. You saw Jason Cole. He's going to be there for the Monday night game. Detroit at San Francisco. Detroit wins that game. And they'll run their record to 14-2 on the season, pretty much wrap up home field. And then it'll be a 14 and they'll be 14-2. They'll be 14. Two teams 14-2, if I'm not mistaken, will play the final week of the season to determine home field. Is that right? Wow. Two teams at the end of the year will play for home field. And a team will be 14-3, and fifth in the seeding as a wild card. Holy crap. That is incredible. I mean, you're going to have a 14-win team sitting in as a wild card. Not good. All right. Don't forget to team up with our great friends at BetUS. Guys, all kinds of bowl games going on. Great stuff during this football season. Bowl games today, tomorrow, then also on Sunday, you got football. And it is right there, YouTube 150 with our great friends at BetUS. We've teamed up with them throughout the football season. And right now, this YouTube 150, sign-up bonuses up to $2K. Your second and third are 125% sign-up bonuses up to $2K. If you're a fan of crypto, 200% up to $2K in your signing bonus. It's the home of Michael Vick. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Wagering on all major college bowl games and also NFL football games. Do me a favor. Log on to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Show's National Football Show. Don't forget Sunday pregame with Xander Krause and John McMullen, and also postgame with the same crew. We are there with you. We appreciate you guys coming aboard with us too. Should be an interesting game. Cowboy week during Christmas week, and with some significance. By the way, I don't think this guy Cooper Rush is all that bad. 9-4. He's a backup quarterback. I think he's delivered for them on what you're asking him to do. I don't have a problem with him. Yeah, I think he's played really well. Now, some are going to go, Sills, he's not really good. Well, he's a backup. What did you expect him to do? Did you expect him to be one of the 32 starting quarterbacks? Dude, not everybody's Nick Foles. You're not going to have a guy like that sitting there in the 2-hole. That's not how it works. Some of you guys were going, Kenny Pickett sucked in that game against Washington. No, he didn't. He put up 30 points, helped put up points to keep you in it, had a game-winning drive, kicked the field goal to take the lead. Your defense shit the bed at the end. They couldn't stop Jaden Daniels. That was a defensive effort. You had shitty tackling and no pressure. That came down to defense. And your 3 and outs that you had on offense. And they stuffed you in the run in the second half. I mean, that came down to, again, your defense giving it up and your run game not going anywhere. Now, you can make the argument Hurts not being – absolutely, it's true. But the point is he's a backup. There's a reason He's the backup. Okay? He's the backup quarterback. These 32 guys, there's only 32 jobs like this in the world. Okay? So at the end of the day here, you guys are looking around going like, well, well, shit. I mean, Sills, you on the pre and post game? Absolutely, man. Yep, absolutely. We'll be there pre-game for the Cowboys and Eagle game and then the post game. Absolutely. Make sure you check it out too. Appreciate everybody coming aboard. Again, I look, it's a 7.5 point number right now, even with Kenny Pickett being in there. I once again, Pickett's going to play. He's got a rib injury. I think the key point here is this. They're pretty good on third down, the Dallas Cowboy defense. That's the only thing they're decent at is third down and getting you off the field. Why? Because if you're in third and long, they got pass rushers that can get home, especially with Micah Parsons. Okay? I mean, so Cooper Rush, like I said, has played well. 9-4. The Cowboys are playing. This is going to be their Super Bowl. They would take this would be an absolute massive win. Okay? Massive win for the Cowboy organization if they were able to get a win over the Eagles. Okay? In your opinion, Big Sills, who should start? Kenny Pickett. He should start. I think the Cowboys, again, I think you have to run the ball on them. I'd run the ball 42 times on these guys as much as I could. I just don't see where Dallas has enough horses. Now, I think they're going to play hard. I got 28-20, the Philadelphia Eagles winning this ball game. If Kenny Pickett doesn't turn it over, they don't get crazy and throw the ball around the yard with him. He throws the ball around 18 to 20 times, and they run the ball 42 to 45 times. I think the Eagles win this game. You know why? I think it's because your O-line and your defense. Yeah, just win and get out of there and have the ability to play Hurts the following week. Okay? So Jalen's not playing. Obviously, he's ruled out for Sunday's game because of the concussion protocol. That just shows you how significant that hit was. So, again, I'll see you on the pregame show on Sunday and also the postgame show. Make sure you check it out. College bowl games are all over the place today, tomorrow. NFL football's tomorrow and Sunday as well, Saturday and Sunday now. Guys, I appreciate you guys. Please hit that like button. Big Joe, Big Z, thank you guys so much. Absolutely awesome holiday week. Hope everyone's having a great holiday week as well. We'll see you Sunday, and we'll see you on the flip side.